Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Devil Cast. I am the devil.
No, I'm just kidding, everybody. Welcome back to Travelers on the Omnibus, Season 3 of a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is James McCarthy.
I am Jody Kite.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
I'm Brady Davis.
I'm having a little bit too much fun with the new toy.
I can tell.
So, listeners, we sold one of Ethan's kidneys and we're able to buy a new soundboard.
And I'm still making payments on this motherfucker.
I'm still recovering.
I was hoping you were gonna go with no, you didn't sell my kidney, and I wanted to be like, are you sure?
There you go.
I'm pretty sure it's hard to realize that, hey, I'm missing a fucking kidney over here.
Maybe you signed a contract.
You'd be surprised.
Contract with Mistopheles.
Yeah, man, there you go. Yeah, no, we have. So just real quick, we have become owners of a Rodecaster 2, which is the upgrade from the Rodecaster 1, which we've been borrowing for 2 years now, but this is now ours. And you're gonna hear funny sound clips and voice effects every now and again. Not a whole lot, but if you're gonna pay the money, you might as well get the use out of it. Yeah, don't abuse it at all. So with that being said, we've been out for a while. So Jody, what have you been up to?
Oh well, man, I've been up to so many things. So I've been playing a hell of a lot of Fortnite through this break, and
Fortnite is genuinely enjoyable.
I have no strong feelings, positive or negative, about Fortnite.
This is like one of the best seasons they've done in a while.
Like, Fortnite can disappear, and I would not bat an eye.
See, this is pro Fortnite side table.
Yeah.
Their side is anti.
Mm-hmm.
I have Fortnite apathy.
Apathy. Okay, there we go.
I take
Let's
that
get that
over
right.
over hate. Ethan, how much Fortnite have you played?
I played.
Define play.
I played.
Have you played a game?
I've played multiple games, but I also played the original pre-access beta when it was originally thought as
the tower defense game.
Yeah, the tower defense. I played that a lot, and then they pretty much got rid of that, and then went for they like put all their eggs in a basket for the battle royale aspect, and
then they made $1 billion.
I just kind of like lost interest in.
Well, for me, I when they first moved to the free battle royale game mode, I jumped on it and I bought the battle pass one time, and I've been playing on that since then. So if you play enough, you can unlock more coins and use those coins in game currency to buy the next battle pass. I've skipped seasons with still enough to buy the next one, but this one's really fun. You've got like different mob bosses that you can go to that you can like solo and then get like better gear to help you through the game. And
yes, solo Peter Griffin.
I did. I soloed Peter Griffin in the middle of the storm. It was great.
Oh man,
I've gotten like 5 or 6 wins this season out of probably about 20 hours.
Well, Jody, none of those words are in the Bible.
so
it's gonna be weird when you see mob boss Peter Griffin in Deuteronomy.
Well, Rapture's not in the Bible either, but we're not getting into that conversation.
Well, that's why we haven't had a rapture.
It's not in the Bible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, other indie games, Binding of Isaac, some Dead Cells. I haven't really been playing a whole lot of new games because I have a PS4. I'm old school that way. I don't have the availability to play Spider-Man 2 because it's not available on the PS4, which is fine. So I've been playing some video games. I did do one other thing. Well, actually, multiple things. I watched Rebel Moon.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that movie is something.
That is what I've heard.
I don't hate it like the internet hates it. I understand why it's getting a lot of hate because it's basically a rejected Star Wars idea.
Well, yeah, he literally wanted to make Star Wars, and Lucasfilm said, "No, we don't want you." So,
And he still made Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will say it's better than Episode 9, but that's not really.
that's a low bar.
It's the lowest of
Coming
bars.
soon, the 4-hour review.
No, we're not doing that because that means I have to watch that movie again, and I'm not going to watch that movie again.
Recall from memory.
Oh God,
Just recall from memory.
It's
that'd
just-
be a
it's just
10-minute episode.
screaming into the void. That's all it
There
is.
you go.
Rebel Moon, if you don't know, is a Netflix exclusive Zack Snyder production. There's 2 parts to it. The second part doesn't come out until April or March or something.
Yeah.
They might have already made it and just don't release it from all the hate it's getting everywhere. Because
They're going to release it. They
Yeah.
spent so much fucking money on
I would
this
argue
movie.
because of the hate, it's getting more engagement.
it's definitely
Yeah.
getting a lot of eyes on it because of that. People will hate watch something sometimes. I was in Walmart the other day and they had merchandise for it. They had
Sure.
there's exactly, that was my response. There's an android in the movie for like 10 minutes maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Bluetooth speaker that it's just its head.
Okay.
And they had like really bad looking mugs. And so Rebel Moon merchandising, because I guess they're trying to make that into a franchise that shouldn't happen.
Well, it's the Star Wars thing. We
Yeah.
have to merchandise.
They're
this.
Netflix is trying to make Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
not gonna fucking happen.
No,
I-
you're gonna get the dudes who really like the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League,
Right.
watching it and saying that it's great, and that's it.
The bad guys, they're called the Imperia, like the Empire.
I was hoping they were the Impera and were actually Ghost BC.
Yeah.
That would make the movie 10 times better.
They reminded me more of I think I mentioned this to Jay. They reminded me more of the some of the characters from Warhammer. Like just go in and just do the ultimate cleanse and wipe a planet clean.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. Why rip off just one thing?
To me, the movie isn't good and it's not bad.
I'm sorry. Like, just to me, the movie isn't good. It's
No.
like,
It's not bad.
yeah.
It's mediocre.
Oh, that's even
and
worse.
that's the worst thing I could ever say about a movie.
That's the worst thing that you can say, especially about a Zack Snyder movie.
Right. It's
Especially.
mediocre. And then I also, during the break, watched the Barbie movie.
Oh yeah.
And that movie was pretty good. I liked it.
Very much enjoyed
I
that
liked
movie.
it quite a bit. And then 2 weeks ago,
I thought you turned into the ghost girl from
Juon?
From Juon, yeah.
much like my one episode I recorded where I watched 9 movies about cats, I watched 9 movies about werewolves for an episode of my show, and it was painful because
Yeah, there's
I
some
would
pretty
imagine.
bad
some of
werewolf
them,
movies.
yeah, Wolf. I don't talk about Wolf.
Oh yeah, nobody talks about Wolf.
Wolf is
That's what Jack Nicholson,
and
Michelle
James
Pfeiffer, and James
Spader,
Spader.
and it is just ooh. But I watched The Wolf Man.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Teen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch Van Helsing, even though Google tells me that that's a werewolf movie. It's
It
not.
has werewolves in it, but it's
but-
not a werewolf movie.
right.
It's just like there's werewolves. There's
There's
just monsters.
ancillary werewolves.
There's werewolves. There's Frankenstein's, and there's vampires all up in it. So
I
it's-
watched Brotherhood of the Wolf, which doesn't have werewolves or
Yeah.
really wolves, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I watched The Howling. That
That's a
movie's
good one.
it's
That's
pretty good. The ending is what it is, but it's
Yeah.
pretty good. And Dog Soldiers. I watched Dog Soldiers. And then I watched American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
That one's always good. It's probably like one of the best werewolf
yeah.
movies. Ginger Snaps,
Ginger Snaps is a good
underrated if anything else. Company of Wolves, not good. If you've never heard of it, it is the Little Red Riding Hood story of a werewolf. Very fairy tale, very weird, but also very bad.
Is there a place you go more in depth about this? What would you call that place? Is it a podcast?
Yeah,
of some
it's
sort?
Fearology.
Oh yes.
yeah,
that thing.
early
We get
plug.
early plug and
Early
soon later
plug for Fearology.
There you go.
But yeah, and then I started watching Trailer Park Boys. I'd never seen that before. That's pretty funny to a degree.
I wish you would have also watched The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Yeah, I found out about that after I'd already recorded. I've heard good things about that.
It is a very good movie. Good horror comedy.
That episode ends up being like 33 minutes of Virology. It was 50 minutes before I had to like make cuts.
There you go.
and edit
Is that
some.
like us doing a 4-hour thing? Is that what?
Yeah.
Coming soon, the 4-hour review of the Rise of Skywalker.
No,
It's
hard pass.
it's fun.
Coming to you in the year 2000. Blah, blah, blah.
It's fun to record. It's not fun to clip out all the pauses and the ums and you knows and
Real talk.
yeah.
That's actually like recording is the more fun part, but I like having the raw footage and then like clip. Like I like the idea of clipping it down and figuring out where can I cut where I'm not destroying meaning but getting to the meaning faster.
When you have to
I dig that.
Actually having to edit because you have too much material is one thing. Having to edit because you're doing what I just did there is really tedious.
See, now you have to leave that in, or else what he says doesn't make sense.
Especially, he doesn't edit those out anymore anyway.
I edited them sparingly.
Yeah.
I found that the conversation sometimes gets kind of surreal if no one is making any mistakes.
Right.
Like if there's no and there's no like kind of wait and pause every once in a while, like I'll leave those in just because it's a little bit more natural.
Dude,
That's why you literally beat me to the line.
I leave-
It's more natural when you.
I
leave
leave
in,
a
like,
couple
the
of like ums and like you knows, but I'll tell you, doing this show has made me so aware of that shit. I was listening to some clip of somebody getting interviewed about something that didn't have any impact on anything whatsoever, and the guy that she was interviewing, every other sentence he said, like you know. Like I could just fucking point that shit out like it's like, oh, he's thinking about what he's about to say, because that's a memory pause is what that is. So yeah, it's a little technical bullshit that you didn't need to know. Yeah, that's all I've been up to.
All right, the microphone's closer to Brady's face. So Brady, what have you been up to?
All right. Well, some of the things that I've done, we're going to talk about later. This specific movie is going to be a little bit later. A specific event is going to be later when we get to Jay's stuff. So I'm just going to talk about some movies that I watched. When I went to see my relatives, we had our I don't think that they like doing it, but our yearly tradition of watching It's a Wonderful Life on the 24th. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And it led me to being interested in watching in getting around to watching some Jimmy Stewart movies that I haven't watched. So I watched Shop Around the Corner, which is, if you've ever heard of You've Got Mail, it's what the You've Got Mail was based on.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Stewart's this guy who works at this shop in Budapest, and this girl comes in and she gets hired, and they have a very antagonistic relationship. They really kind of hate each other, but separately they've both been doing this pen pal shit. And they really like the person that they're talking to in the letters, and Jimmy Stewart, he goes to meet the girl, and it turns out it's the girl that he hates. So he knows that who she is, but she doesn't know who he is. It's a really good scene where he doesn't like tell her, like he just kind of like they just still have a back and forth thing. It's a pretty good little romantic comedy. It's worth checking out. It's on Amazon. I'm gonna be watching some more Jimmy Stewart movies that I just haven't gotten around to this year. So there's that.
If you're hearing that, our equipment is working very well. That's the cops. So Ethan, you just assume the position.
They're gonna give you back your kidney.
Yeah, they found it.
They found the kidney.
Yeah, they did.
Good.
Yeah. That was spiteful. Good.
We got our money, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I don't remember. Stop me if because time has little meaning. I might have talked about this. I finally got around to watching Raya and the Last Dragon. Okay, I haven't talked about this. It's a fine movie.
Was that the movie that came out during the pandemic?
Yeah.
And that they were.
It was around that time period.
It was somewhere around then. I don't know.
It was. I remember this. It was a movie that came out after Disney had tried the first
The
time.
$15 Milan
No,
experiment.
$30.
Was it 30?
It was
God, I don't
$30.
even remember that.
Yeah,
right.
it came out in 2021.
Yeah,
Oh,
it-
okay.
it was, but
Okay.
it was still during some
Yeah.
places were still dealing with pandemic stuff. Yeah, they didn't do that with that one. It was like a
Yeah.
month after it was in theaters. It was
Yeah.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was the same time where they were still putting a whole bunch of Pixar movies on Disney Plus.
Right. Beautiful art style though, that movie.
It looks nice. It's fine. There's
It's
no
a
like,
passable.
it's a passable movie. I
movie.
didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Normally, I know a lot of people find her very annoying. I don't usually find Awkwafina in most of the roles that I've seen her in annoying. She was a little bit annoying in this movie. She plays the titular last dragon.
Right.
It's that like it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Right.
So like yeah,
That's where you go. It's made for kids.
yeah. It was fine.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I can really say about that.
It's a very very generic storytelling.
It's just an adventure type thing where you're having to find these. There's a MacGuffin that you got to collect. and-
Hero's journey.
Yeah.
Very typical hero's journey.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not terrible, but it's not. It's you know. And then the last thing I just watched this, was it Monday? Yeah,
Monday was New Year's.
Yeah, I watched it Monday.
Okay.
One of the greatest creators of animated films is Hayao Miyazaki. And for the last like 3 or 4 movies that he's made, he said, "This is my final movie." And
then Goro continues to
and then
disappoint
Goro
him.
continues to fuck up.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, now I gotta come back again.
Makes Earwig and the Witch, and then he's like, "Fuck!" Oh, look up stills for that movie. It is terrible. It's Studio Ghibli's first 3D movie, and it looks terrible.
It does look awful.
Yeah, you're looking it up right now. I know when you see it. So swear to God, this is his last movie, The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
And I've seen some Studio Ghibli's re-released in theaters, but I've never seen them like in. Yeah, it looks bad. Look, you should see.
Ethan looks like he
face.
lost his other kidney.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to watch this in theaters. It had been out for a little while, but I was like, I've never watched a Miyazaki movie in theaters while it was actually happening.
Right.
So I went and watched it. It's very, very good. It's about this young boy who loses his mother in the firebombing of Tokyo. And that first scene where they portray that is very interesting. I will say this is Miyazaki's most abstract and most surreal movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's also one of his more hard to follow, like to understand movies.
Sure.
I don't like. There's some stuff. Usually they're actually relatively straightforward. I think, but this one, like there were some parts where I don't really understand what the fuck's happening, because it can get pretty surreal, even compared to like some of his other movies. Very shortly afterwards, him and his father moved to the countryside, where his father has a factory where they make like the domes for aircraft.
Okay.
We find out that the father is remarried, and I think it's to his wife's sister.
Oh.
And they have a baby on the way. And then weird things start happening. This really creepy Heron, who is voiced in the English dub by Robert Pattinson, doing his best Willem Dafoe impression.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Willem Dafoe until I heard Willem Dafoe later in the movie, and I was like, well, does he do both of those things? And I was like, oh no, that's Robert Pattinson. What the fuck?
Moses hanging out with the lighthouse. It just rubbed off on him.
Rubbed off on me. You can't help it. But this Heron tells him like, hey, your mother's still alive and you can come get her. You just have to come with me. And so they go on this journey to this other world where just weird shit happens. They get the kid gets attacked by pelicans. There's giant parakeets who eat people. It's really fucking weird. He meets this fire princess who can and I don't know, like it's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. I liked it.
The Heron has human teeth. It is extremely off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he goes back and forth because he changes forms, and he will be in between forms a lot. And like he has this big, gigantic, bulbous, disgusting nose and these big teeth, and like the nose and the teeth will like come out from the heron mouth, and yeah, he looks like it's really weird and off.
It's very
That's
unsettling.
some H.R. Giger shit.
Yeah,
God damn
that's
it.
him as his. So that
okay.
his head will like come out of the heron's mouth.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird, but I liked it a lot. Like there is some like less straightforward and more abstract. Like whenever he like he'll like have nightmares about like the fire bombing, and anytime that he's like that you're seeing a scene of him running through there, like it's very abstract, like everything's kind of like washed away and like melding together. He seems like he's moving faster than he should be able to move, and he's kind of stretched out, and everything else is kind of stretched out, and it's very like I said, it's Miyazaki being his most abstract and surreal. I know I've already said that, but that's kind of the best way to explain it.
Right.
I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's very, very good. I don't know where it lands on my favorite Miyazaki movies, but it is one worth checking out, I think.
It looked really cool from the trailer. I wanted to see it in theater, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a while before it actually stops being in theaters. It's only at the Grand and the Cinemark, though. It's not at the one in Biloxi. So
Right.
So yeah, that is me. Other than the other stuff that I'll talk about when it comes up.
There you go. Ethan, get on that.
Yeah. Ethan, real quick, before you start talking about what you've been doing, I need you to look
Yes.
up something for me.
Okay, I'm looking things
I
up.
need you to look up Appleseed CGI. Since you know
I shouldn't know what that's about, but I do know what that's about.
Appleseed
CGI. You see, there was this classic anime series in the 80s called Appleseed. It was more of an OVA, original video animation, and then they decided to reboot it in the early 2000s with CGI animation.
This
Looks awful.
What the what am I looking? What?
Yeah, that's the proper reaction.
That
Japanese anime is notorious, especially like only recently have they gotten better at CGI, and because mostly they use it as like supplements for things,
Right.
But most like CGI, even not too long ago, is very bad. It all looks. I did read an article one time, and it was when that Earwig and the Witch was coming out, and they were talking about like how they're like, since they've been doing traditional animation so long, that there are different things that you have to know when doing CGI to make it not look like Uncanny Valley and really terrible and horrible looking. And they just don't know, like they didn't have those techniques. And I think that they're finally getting around, like they're finally learning all of those things.
I think one of the few exceptions as of late is I want to say like a lot of scenes in Attack on Titan uses CGI.
Yeah.
But they do it in the right way.
Yeah, they use it for like bigger things. Like in the new chapter of Bleach that I've been watching, a lot of like, if there's a giant thing that comes on screen, it's usually CGI.
Because it makes it look different and stand out.
Yeah, and it's also it's supplemental. It's not like the whole entire thing. Yeah, it's really bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see this again.
So now that it's hit you in the face, how's your week now?
Okay,
How's your off time been now?
a lot better. It was a lot better until this moment.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Where do I want to start? So, me and Bianca, we decided to pick back up where we left off with the Marvel movies. So we started back with
Ant-Man?
yeah,
The original Ant-Man?
Yeah, we started back with the original Ant-Man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, rewatching them kind of like made me remember like why I fell in love with the Marvel movies, and then immediately going into Guardians 2.
Guardians 2 is great.
Guardians
It's
2,
so strong.
and then all of it leading Doctor Strange, Civil War, Homecoming.
Yep, those
and
are
then
good.
all that leading into Infinity War and Endgame, which Bianca, me and Jay, we were at work, and I kept getting texts from Bianca saying that she was bawling her eyes out.
Oh
from,
yeah.
from just all the events from that game.
Yep.
So yeah,
18 years is a long time for a legacy story arc
I wanted to do the thing. It was like, okay, we watched Infinity War. You have to wait a year to watch Endgame
or whatever it was. 18 movies, not 18 years. Damn, what the fuck's wrong
No,
with
it's
me?
more than 18 movies.
No, it's 18 movies. The MCU proper is 18. I want to say.
Is it?
Yeah.
There are more
was like
Marvel movies than there are James Bond.
Yeah,
movies.
but they're
might have
not
been-
all part of that story arc.
Well, yeah, the Infinity Saga arc. Yeah, to Endgame is like 18 movies.
That's what
Oh,
I'm
we're
saying.
just talking. Okay,
I'm
so we're
just
just
talking
talking
about the
Endgame.
arc.
Okay.
Well,
gotcha.
well, the Infinity Stone arc.
Yeah. She texted me that like after Endgame, she was like, okay, I skipped all these movies because she immediately wanted to get to Far From Home.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a good one.
She really likes the.
I
Tom
love all the
Holland.
Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
And so after we did that, and speaking of Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing Spider-Man 2.
I'm jealous.
I finally opened my.
That's why he did the Appleseed thing too, because
Yeah.
you can't play it. And you have
Yeah, I finally opened my PS5 for Christmas.
Nice.
Thank you, Bianca. Love you so much. I'm absolutely in love with the game. Just being able to swap not only from Peter Parker Spider-Man, but also Miles Morales, and seeing how both of them, they have the same mechanics, but like individually different abilities, which I very much like.
Sort of like they did with the last game, but with the suits, you had different abilities with the suits. but it's
Kinda,
a
yes.
little bit more nuanced, probably.
Like you still have the web gadgets, but you don't have both Peter and Miles have their own focus power, which is the big burst of energy that you're
Right.
able to use. But you can change the suits. The suits don't really matter. It's just pure customization, and then you can upgrade your abilities.
Right.
The story, I'm loving it so far.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Sure. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not. Amazing game, and we also got It Takes Two for the PS5s because we originally played it on Steam, but Bianca's computer kept crashing when we got to one specific boss fight. We've just never been able to complete it.
Right.
So now we're able to play it on PS5, and hawkeye we can finish the game.
Yeah, speaking of Marvel, they dropped a trailer for a new show coming to Disney Plus, if it's not already on, for Hawkeye's daughter, that character, who becomes part of the Young Avengers, or whatever the name of that group is.
Are you talking about the Thunderbolts movie that they're doing?
No. Hold
I
on.
do not know what you're talking about.
It's not a movie. It's a TV show.
I did see that Steve Wynn is no longer Ewan.
Yeah.
Is no longer the Sentry.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That makes me sad because.
Well, I mean,
like Steve Young.
get out while you can, so you don't get locked into like 18 fucking movies.
That's fair.
He wants to do other shit. So, is it Echo?
It might be Echo.
I think.
That's the R-rated series. they're
Yeah,
doing,
that's
isn't
like
it?
the TVMA series.
Yeah.
There's a character from one of these shows that's in that.
I thought Echo was the one from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It might be.
No. She's like. She has something to do with her hearing. It's not. I thought it was too, but it's not
Okay.
her.
Well, I know the Pinhead is in it.
She's from one of these. She might have been from the Hawkeye show.
Pinhead. Wait, like
Like the
Hellraiser.
No.
Do you mean Kingpin?
Kingpin? I mean,
Kingpin.
God
I
damn
was
it.
like, oh
That
no,
is-
no.
I was
No.
running through all of the pinheads that I know from pop culture. and I
No,
was like,
no, there's only one Pinhead, and now I wish it was in Echo.
no,
oh my
because
god.
there's the pinhead from Hellraiser. There's pinhead
Yeah.
from Puppet Master.
Oh yeah.
There's pinhead from the 1920s movie Freaks.
Oh yeah, there's just
Todd Browning's
Go ahead
Freaks.
and cut that because
Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
fucked up that I said that.
Could you imagine? Imagine, if you will, Spider-Man fighting Pinhead.
Oh, I thought you were explaining to me the plot of Freaks.
There is
No,
a
that's way above me.
Yeah.
there is a
Now I'm thinking of Spider-Man fighting the puppet pinhead from Puppet Master.
I've missed y'all in this. I've missed y'all in this scenario where we just come up with crazy shit like this.
there is a new season of What If Also, Maya Lopez is the name of the character. Echo is, I guess, her superhero name or whatever, and it's in the quote unquote Hawkeye verse or whatever you want to call it. Maybe. But anyway,
the
Kingpin.
Hawkeye-verse.
Well, Kingpin, the guy who played Kingpin in Hawkeye, is playing Kingpin in this show, and so the character must have been. I watched the show. I don't remember the character if she was in it, but I think they're leading into using maybe Disney Plus as a platform to build up new characters, at least for the TV and movie audience.
Yes,
to
the Disneyverse of Marvel.
Well, the thing is, depending on like how they're using it, it might be a better way of using it. So if you're setting up for something, you know, like the Miss Marvel show was supposed to set up for the Marvels movie.
Yeah,
It was
the
supposed-
Marvels.
It was supposed to introduce you to a new version of one of the Marvels, and maybe that movie wouldn't have did what it did.
That's kind of what they did with WandaVision, kind of leading to the events of.
Except Sam Raimi looked at it and go, whatever, I'm telling my own story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
WandaVision to me was like the end, like the after effects of Endgame, not leading into something new.
Yeah.
I kind of, that was like that movie that I liked some of that Doctor Strange movie, but man, anyway, sorry.
I like the Sam Raimiest parts of that movie.
Oh yeah, with the little
yeah.
flying notes and stuff and everything. Yeah,
and the strange weirdo close-ups on like Rachel McAdams. And they're like, this is a Sam Raimi. Okay, they let Sam Raimi be Sam Raimi.
Oh yeah,
Sam Raimi just being
you
Sam
have
Raimi.
and you have a zombie in there. So
Yes. Besides all that, we've also started watching Loki.
Okay.
Season 1, because everything that I've seen from season 2 Loki, it makes me want to watch it. So
Right.
doing it proper, starting
Yeah.
at the very beginning.
Yeah, you got to start from the beginning
Yeah.
there, because that whole they go really wacky with the whole time skipping aspect in season 2.
Oh yeah.
So
Also, besides that, also watching season 2 of What If.
did you watch Ahsoka?
No, haven't gotten around to watch. There's so many things that I'm currently occupied with that I'm having to like pick and choose what exactly. Oh yeah, we've also watched the Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus. I'm enjoying it. It's much different than I was kind of expecting it to be, but I'm waiting to see how they go about with it. From what I remember from the book series, it's kind of on point with how Percy, Annabeth, and Grover interacted with each other. So I'm kind of waiting to see if it's gonna get better, if it's gonna get worse.
Apparently, fans have been asking for this from Disney to make a Disney Plus show based off of this for a while.
It's
Didn't they make a movie a couple years ago?
They made 2 movies:
The Lightning Thief.
The Lightning Thief and Sea of Monsters.
Okay.
Sea of Monsters was an absolute garbage fire of a movie, which kind of made people want Disney to take over the franchise to do it, kind of like do it justice, like how people want Aragorn to be remade.
I mean Aragon.
Aragon, yes.
No, we don't just want like one of the lead characters from Lord of the Rings. We just want to make sure that distinction's out there.
Aragon. They want that to be remade so that way it could be as good as the book series is. And Disney picked up Percy Jackson, and so far they're doing really good with it.
I think
in my opinion.
Brady wanted to say something about.
Yeah, I've watched the movies mainly because my at the time girlfriend was really into the books. She read all of Rick Riordan's books, and I saw that he actually has like I don't care anything about it, but I did see that like he has like a lot of like say in this. Like he is very involved in this.
That's good.
And he wasn't really involved in the movies,
Right.
Because I saw like the movies like aged him up a lot and did a lot of like weird things. They were fine to me, but I didn't give a shit either way.
Right, of course.
Rick Riordan has a cameo in every single episode as just different characters.
Oh, nice.
So it's a tiny little tidbit that I like in it.
I might watch it. Like for me, like the whole like young adult fiction doesn't really like. I mean, Harry Potter was like a phenomenon kind of thing, and I didn't start watching that until I was actually in between jobs after Hurricane Katrina, and I was in a video store and had literally watched everything that I wanted to watch, including old movies, and so I started watching Harry Potter when Prince of Azkaban just went to video.
The first Harry Potter movie I ever watched was the 5th one.
Nice.
I didn't give a shit. Like, I don't hate them, but like I
Right.
didn't give a shit about that.
Right.
Those were like right. I was almost, I think, in the right age for when those came out, and I just remember I read like we read part of the first book
Right.
in a class, and I was like, man, I don't like this.
Right.
So I never went back to them. I don't have strong feelings. Well, I have strong feelings, but I don't care enough to
Well,
voice
it's like
them
for me,
about
it's like Harry Potter and Pokemon both. I know it's a weird jump, but hold on. When those things started, like I was watching like more adult oriented shit, you know. I was watching like when fucking Pokemon came out as an anime, I was watching anime like Berserk and shit like that. And Harry Potter had so much hype that I was like, I don't give a fuck about this kid's movie. Like, I don't give no shits. Like I said, it wasn't until I was working at a video store and the 4th one just came out, and I was like, I'll just watch. I'll watch one and see what happens. And I ended up watching like the first 3 in one day because they were free movies. I was working in a video store.
Yeah, they're free.
Right.
Brady, on the other hand, he saw that the main villain finally took form, and he's like, okay, this is where I'll start.
Sure. I mean,
No, he literally just
No,
started.
it's just that
on
my
number
girlfriend
5.
at the time
right.
liked the series, and I
Right.
was like, well, I guess I'll fucking go watch this.
Yeah, there you go.
I do want to get laid tonight, so yeah, I don't give a shit about them.
I get you.
Like, I understand people liking them. I understand what people like about them.
I've seen them all once, and I'm good with that.
Now, when it comes to Pokemon, first of all, Pokemon was never on any channel that I had access to.
Right.
And then also, Digimon existed, and the early Digimon was actually pretty mature storytelling, especially
Right.
compared to Pokemon.
Right.
You want to see people just fucking dying left and right?
Right.
Go watch a Digimon show, especially when it gets to that 3rd series. Woo, man, that's dark.
In Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japan, when people die, they get killed. They're dead.
Yeah.
But when people die in the American version, they
right.
get banished to the Shadow
Oh yeah,
Realm.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
Because
there was like guns
that's
and
better. What?
shit. They were like guns and shit
Yeah.
all up in that, all up in the original version.
Oh,
of
that's my
that
favorite.
one.
Like 2 guys with Men in Black, they have guns drawn in the Japanese version, but in the American version, they're just severely pointing at something.
Yeah. I love seeing like comparisons of like American censorship from anime.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
it's so funny
The
sometimes.
first episode of the Japanese Voltron show from 1984, they burned and scorched a whole planet, and one of the heroes, because they're being taken prisoner by the aliens that just ran asunder their whole entire home world. You bastard, I'm going to kill you. That episode didn't air over here. They just cut that whole episode out. Solved that problem.
People forget that the word shit was used in the Transformers movie.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Which is what I would do if I was orbiting a planet that was slowly being eaten by a giant transformer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was it Jazz who said it, or was it
It was either. No, I think it was one of the humans. It's one of the humans.
It would have been Spike, I
it would've been
believe, the
Spike.
older one.
I think it
yeah.
would have been Spike. Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Great
Great stuff. Ethan, anything else or?
Hey Jay, how have you been?
Hey everybody, it's Jay. I will tell you how I have been doing in this segment. So there's a movie again that but we'll be talking about that during the Omni Awards. So I'm just going to talk about the aftermath of JMOS, the main event 10, the 10th time the main event has been run. What is the main event? It is Twilight Imperium. Oh, that's a large 6-hour, 12-hour game. Or a 6-player, 12-hour game. Wrong. It was 2 6-player, 12 to 14-hour games. And I can only imagine for the people who were playing it. We have 2 of the players. They were playing on the red table. We have Brady, who was
Mentak Coalition.
Yeah, Mentak, the space pirates, and then we have one Ethan Skinner who was the Necrovirus.
That was the Necrovirus.
Yes, which is basically like take Terminator, now make them fly in space, now remove them talking, and then just eating everything. There you go. That was that. So that was a pretty fun table. Also, I let off like we had a little powwow right before everything started, and just kind of got some feelings out, which was very good. I was very grateful, first of all, gentlemen, for you here and for everybody who participated. Again, thank you very much. Some of y'all came as far as Birmingham, Alabama, and Dallas, Texas. So that was very, very appreciated. Greatly appreciate that. Also want to give a shout out right now to JD Martin and to Kevin Gallo. When I wasn't there to be able to proctor rules and stuff, they took up a good bit of the slack on that from what I saw. So I give a quick thank you for that. Congratulations going to Jose Uscanga from the Red Table, who won with the Nalu after the dumbest, not so dumbest, but like longest running, like brain scorching, like fucking game. Y'all took 14 hours.
14 hours.
And just one misplay at the end.
Literally
cascaded that in them.
Everyone yelling, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah, and then he got to and then
oh, whoops.
Yep, and then he scored 10 points and won the game. And meanwhile, on the other in the blue table in the back, one Kevin, don't call me Blake Shelton, fucking won the title on the blue table after sneakily taking over Greg's homeworld and scoring 5 points in one turn, which is half the points you need for the whole game.
Congratulations, Blake.
Congratulations, Kevin.
How many snack breaks you get for a 14-hour board game?
None. There was each table after round 3 got their dinner breaks.
Yeah.
The red table got their game done in fewer turns, but the blue, or rather, actually no, not even that. No, not even that. No, sorry. The red team got to halftime first. It had the first crew that got to 7 points, which is usually when the game goes from like semi-serious to full-on fucking serious, because at that point there is someone.
Yeah, we
within,
slowed down a lot towards the end there.
Yeah,
because nobody wanted to make a fuck up.
Yeah, at which
speed up to slow down, kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's now everybody's moves are being just like, I need to do this, I need to do this.
Being very meticulous.
Yeah, every little detail becomes sharper when a bad mistake makes somebody else win. It was kind of the same way on the blue table. Blue table, God bless him. Greg had a plan, but he missed 2 steps on that plan and it took him completely out of whack. Took him, and again in a 12-hour game, you can make a number of little mistakes, but one big mistake will send you back. Like for instance, don't broadcast that all I need to do is hold this and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
You don't broadcast to the table.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I didn't like. All I needed to do was Jose to not get to 8 points.
Yeah,
and I had the game. Like there was no way that I was going to not win.
Yeah.
At the time I had to make like Jose needed to not get to 8 points, and I needed his secret objective to not be scoreable. And it wasn't, but I didn't know that. But I can't do anything about his secret objective.
Well, and particularly they're on opposite sides of the map. Like it's like even
and the board is very crowded.
Yes,
there was never after the second round there was no real space.
No, everybody moved out completely. Last thing I'll say for the red table is Ethan started with arguably the worst starting position I've ever seen.
Starting position
in the main event. In games of this I've watched in there, he had no developable planets within two hexes of his own home system.
Listeners, let me paint a picture for you. Okay, I want to be as close to people so I can steal technologies from them. Okay.
Yep.
I can't do that when I have a supernova to my right
that you can't move
an impassable supernova, an asteroid belt that I cannot move through at this time, and the only accessible hex in front of me is a portal that goes completely across the entire map.
It literally makes him closer to the person that should be the furthest away from him.
Yes.
He is closer to that player than any other player on the board. Crazy.
The closest planet to me is 2 hexes away from me, but also that is immediately right next to Mechatol Rex.
It's in the shadow of Mechatol, which is going to be fought over.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I should not have gotten as many points as I should have.
Yeah. I had him pegged for 3 points for the whole game. He got 8 by the
I
end.
got a maximum of 8 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing to have that terrible of a start and really a terrible first round. Like you weren't able to do hardly anything that first round. Thinking back on it though, if Roger wouldn't have for some reason given you that wormhole right there, if you would have just gotten like empty space there, like you would, I think he would have gotten the only the 3 points, but. Like just to be able to actually do something and come from behind with that bad of a start is still like very, very good.
No, you did a very good
I
job.
got a question for you.
Yeah.
When do you think when you're playing a game and this is the only, point of reference I have for the game, it's just game length. I know enough about the game, right? At what point does mental exhaustion kick in for you? Ethan, like hour 8, hour 9, are you starting to like have to think really hard because the mental exhaustion of being so like focused and committed on your strategy and your tactics?
For me, it was around like hour 10.
Hour 10.
Because at that point, Kevin Gallo, he had shot all the way up to 7 points when a lot of us were still at like 1, 2, and it was a lot of like, okay, I need certain things to happen in order to develop not only my plan, but also try to take Gallo down a peg, while also trying to convince other people to not target myself, but all of us to try and do something about Gallo, with also Gallo arguing his side and trying to convince everyone to target me because I have the potential to grow exponentially. So it was at that point when just the mental capacity, the politicking, and possible 30-minute long table screaming happens.
What about you, Brady? At what point did you ever become mentally
For
exhausted?
me, it was less about the hour of playing the game to the hour of the day. When it got time to, when I was looking at my phone and was like, oh, this is the time where I normally go to bed.
Yeah,
That's where,
right.
That's where it started to hit me worse.
I led off the day with to the rookies, the 3 people who had just played. In fact, Jose was one of the rookies and won on his rookie year, so that's pretty cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, but I said this is going to be a test of strategy, stamina,
and
sanity.
endurance.
No, and sanity.
Sanity,
Yeah.
yeah.
Endurance is in there somewhere.
Stamina, yes.
Yeah, stamina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meanwhile, over on the blue table, like y'all's table was about the middle of the board. Their table was literally about the first ring, like it was their outer ring, like because everybody who was a neighbor was battling another neighbor. It was Kevin attacking Greg, it was JT attacking Brad, and it was Eddie attacking JD, and it stayed consistent. Like Greg held Mechatol for 4 straight rounds.
Wow. Oh, wow.
He never could get Imperial to score it. Never could.
Too much going on there.
Too much going
How
on.
do you score? How do you score being there?
Okay, so there's a strategy card called Imperial, and at the top of every round, you pick one of the strategy cards out. That determines what your cool ability is for that round, and also where you go in initiative order. Now, 8 is Imperial, so you're going last typically in that round. Typically, there's one exception, and we can get into that another time. But in order to score a point off that card, you have to hold Mechatol Rex. Every time it would come up for him, it either had already been taken or he needed something else. And the one really dastardly one, the next to last round, which helped, which Kevin played an absolute masterpiece of a game. I wish y'all could have seen some of that.
Shelton.
Shelton, because fantastic.
Because we have 2 Kevins.
Yeah, we do have. It was he has a racial ability, which he has to unlock through technology, and it says, okay, once everybody has taken their cards, their strategy cards, give somebody, exhaust this and give them 3 trade resources, trade strategy cards with them. Which means that unless nobody takes the one you want, which means it should have been available to you when you wanted to take it anyway. If no one takes that card, you are guaranteeing yourself every round of the game, as long as you have 3 trade goods to give them, you are guaranteeing that you get the strategy card you want. That card fueled his 5-point round, which put him from 4 to 9 and put him on the doorstep with 2 cards in hand that would have given him his 10th
So
point.
those strategy cards are open knowledge after a player's drawn them?
Yes.
Yeah, you pick them all, like it's the same 8 every single time, and you pick them at the
Face
beginning
up?
of the strategy
Okay.
phase. Yeah, everybody because this is also tells you what order you go in.
Okay.
Imperial, when you activate it, if you have Mechatol Rex, you gain a point, and you can also score a public objective. If you don't have Mechatol Rex, you draw a secret objective card.
Yeah.
So,
He scored 5 points off of 1 round, and that was
insane.
yeah,
that
and I
was
think
the master
6
stroke.
is like the maximum we were.
For
There
si-
might we were trying to
you
figure out
have
if there
to-
was 6 or 7.
There,
that was the
7
maximum.
is happenable, but in order to do that, you have to have all of these action phase secrets, and because then it's 3 there, Mechatol for 4, and then 2 and 2. You can actually get 8. I think you can actually get 8.
Okay.
But to do that is so not likely, but it is like it's within the realm
you would
of
have to have
possibility.
like a couple of secret objectives that activate in the
in the action phase,
phase,
like the bombarding the last
and
dude
you
off
don't
of a planet,
and you don't get which Roger had, and God help him, he tried to take my dudes off the planet,
and he just
off
kept
a planet.
not,
So
and
he
kept
basically
failing.
ended up just protecting my planet.
He was treating him as a vassal state. It was fucking amazing.
Because he just could not roll what he needed to roll to bombard a
And
planet.
then to end it up, because you play a 12+ hour game, you're getting some sort of recognition.
Right.
So both of them got to write their name down on the Sword of Jamas, the foam Minecraft sword that is now more valuable, in my opinion, than any other foam Minecraft sword in existence. But there has to be a winner. There has to be a championess. There has to be. So in order to do that, you have to pick a game that is very simple to teach, or they already know, and already know can be very difficult. Like it's like a round of Texas Hold'em. Well, what if somebody doesn't know how to play poker right?
Right.
How many rounds do you do? And then I finally said there's one game where skill can be applied, but it's in a very strange way. It was a 1st to 5 points rock, paper, scissors challenge.
This is in between, for the listeners, that's in between the 2 tables that we're playing, right?
the winners.
The champions of those tables faced off in a
like
1st to 5 rock, paper,
2:30
scissors.
a.m.
Right.
Yes. When everybody's just beat tired and they've got to do this. It went the full 9 points that it could have gone.
Yeah.
And like I gave each of them the opportunity to have a timeout for like 60 seconds. Kind of like, okay, Kevin goes down 3-1. He goes like, timeout. I need and like he's breathing that out. He actually had a second, which if I do it again next year, which I'm kind of leaning towards, I want everybody to have a second so they can talk talk some stuff out. It's like he came back and then he went up 4-3.
Oh.
And then Jose scored his 4th point, and it literally came down to 1 game of rock, paper, scissors to decide this 15-hour insanity.
Yeah.
Right.
And Kevin scored it, and he holds the sword.
Yeah, I was rooting for Kevin because he didn't beat me personally.
He didn't beat you directly, so there you go.
So
But yeah, all right, we got some.
If a lot of us did amazing, the fact that 4 different people had the 10 points required to win. Jose, Brady, myself, and Cameron, all 4 of us had the win. It just the very last few game actions in the last round determined everything.
Yeah. And I know Jay was talking about this before he was joining the event. He was thinking about, we have these 2 tables. I need to figure out how to do a tiebreaker between the 2 tables of the winners from both sides. Yeah. Maybe we should play a game. It's after 12 to 14 hours, man. I don't think they're going to have it in and play another actual game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if he would have if I would have won and he would have said, "Hey, we have to play this other game," I would have I would have just left.
All right, we got to play a 2-player game of Ticket to Ride. No. Like rock, paper, scissors is
That's
over.
probably
quick
the
and
best.
brutal.
That was the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted a tie. I'm leaning toward doing that again if we have 2 tables next year. God knows This one exploded on me for 12 this year.
Oh, you know what else you could have? You could have done that stupid thing where they get they fill their mouth up with water and they slap each other with a tortilla.
Oh man! This is why you need to be on the committee. Like, Jesus.
Next year's tiebreaker, tortilla game.
Tortilla
slap. Yeah, okay, there you go.
I hope. I would like to in the future play with some of the pieces of the expansion. I've been looking at things and
if any of the Twilighters from this year or any of the J Mossers or Mossers, however you want to call yourselves, we are going to be adding expansion components next year.
Yeah,
I haven't decided fully. And what I do love about Prophecy of Kings, which is the expansion of Twilight Imperium, is that it is all modular. You can add things or add things to, and you don't have to add the whole box.
I've been looking at. There are some things like if you add this, you have to add this. But there's a lot of the things. Like I think most of the I don't know what they call them, but they're the characters for each of the original ones. You don't have to have any new things. A lot of the newer races, you don't have to add extra the extra modules because there is like an exploration component.
At the very least, I do want to add the new races.
Yeah,
because they are very
some of the new races.
I love the Argent Flight. I think they're really cool.
Those you can add. There's like 2 or 3 of the races where if you add this, you have to add like extra things.
Like I think the Titans require the mech units. I think.
Yes. Yeah. But looking at it, I don't think most. There's only a couple of things here and there that like affect like extra things. Like, I think the exploration is probably too much, but like, there are the mechs. Most of them don't change anything. It's just an extra thing that you can build on a planet and make. I think it makes taking a planet or defending a planet more interesting.
Yeah.
Most of the races don't interact that much with the new stuff. There's a couple the ones that are like the 2 people, they deal with exploration a lot. So if you add them in, you have to do the exploration. And most of the characters, the extra 3 abilities that you get tied to the agent, the commander, and the hero, those you don't have to add anything else. I don't think. For at least for the old races. Okay. But yeah, there are some things.
I definitely want to expand because this is this was the 5th or 6th one that we've done under 4th edition without adding any new rules and stuff into it. I definitely want to, like, at the very least, to change it up to give people who have played for a long time, like different things to consider. Well, different things to consider so that it's not like
even if you play like the same thing that you played before,
it'll
like,
have some modified things.
So but then definitely. So again, to the 12 men who joined in there, thank you very much. That was. For me, that was the best JMOS we've run like since we started the main event. This coming year will be the 10-year anniversary.
Right.
First one was in 2014, so that's going to be cool there. But yeah, thank you again, gentlemen. It was a fantastic day, and I greatly appreciate it.
Very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Excellent for me. No, however, gentlemen. Feedback.
Oh man,
shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have a first episode of the year, first feedback. This is feedback on the Mixmaster tape that one Ethan Skinner gave us, but specifically about Californication, the Red Hot Chili Peppers album. This comes from a friend Amber Bird, who listened to the episode and has the following thoughts.
Okay.
First thought. Anthony Kiedis was the first mumble rapper. I hate that I agree with this, LOL. So my response to that was Brady is exceptional and incisive yet painful observations. There you go. Now, her feedback in full. Californication is always one of their best albums. Some of their greatest hits come from it. I liked some of their lesser known songs from it, like The Velvet Glove and Savior. Scar Tissue was kind of an indirect storytelling of Kiedis' drug addiction. Most of their songs have depth, but they have an eclectic collection of words and verses that don't entirely make sense to people who don't know the band more intimately. I think that's why a lot of people hate on them. I agree with you that they just aren't the Red Hot Chili Peppers without John. John being John Frusciante. Honestly, I love the more rock vibe they had going for them when they briefly made work with Navarro. It wasn't their typical funky sound, but I enjoyed it. Especially, I Could Have Lied. I really enjoyed Kinghofer's work too. The Hunter and Brendan's Death Song are some of my favorites from I'm With You and The Getaway. Also agree with the comment about their filler songs being subpar. So that was her statement. Any follow up to that feedback as far as what was just said there?
Yeah, we didn't mention it, but there was also, if I'm not mistaken, a later album where they didn't have Frusciante. I think it was after Stadium Arcadium.
That was the Keyhofer album that you mentioned there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, like it's just kind of repeating. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers a lot. I don't like most of their albums as a whole, but I do like a lot of their songs.
Okay.
That's how I feel about quite a few bands, really. Like,
yeah,
as a whole.
there's only I feel that way about Foo Fighters.
Right. Right.
It's just like I really, really like them as a band, and I enjoy their songs. It's just like there was really only 3 good songs on this album to me.
Right.
And they were so good that they kind of like shot them into the stratosphere, in my opinion.
Yeah, they went they broke into the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Like the song Californication, I could listen to it anytime over and over.
Right.
And I'm not gonna get tired of it.
Yeah.
So like it's I love the band. It's just like the album just didn't do it for me.
And
But most of their albums don't do it for me as a
Right.
whole.
And I want to say this, like even though I might not like them as a whole, I do respect and I'm gonna name a couple of bands that might get either love or hate. It doesn't really matter because music is like an art form; it's subjective. All of the bands that proceeded to survive through all of the subgenres and genres of music that they were like quote unquote like maybe typecasted in a group with a bunch of, because like there's a lot of rock bands that came out in the 90s. They came out before then, but all the bands that like survived the grunge era that died off, including metal bands. Metallica survived all the metal bands dying off during that time period. Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Weezer was like gone for a few years, came back. They came back like a couple times. Whether you like them or not, Weezer's a legacy band, Foo Fighters a legacy band, Red Hot Chili Peppers is a legacy band. They've been doing it for 20 plus years, all of them, some of them for 25. So you have to respect that, like, they've got a fan base somewhere that keeps them going for that long. And also, mainstream rock and roll, there's not a lot of that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool beans. So, Amber, thank you very much for that feedback. Hope you enjoyed the entirety of that episode. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to leave feedback to us, travelers on the omnibus at gmail.com. Again, that is travelers, 1L on the omnibus at gmail.com. Jody, where else can they find us? Or get in touch with us?
You can reach us on Spotify unless you're a podcaster that you use Spotify for. Then you got to do like 4 different logins to make sure that you're actually going to where Anchor used to be, but Spotify is now. But Spotify is where you want to go to message us directly and take part in any polls, like whether or not Ethan's going to be a dolphin.
What was the outcome of it?
Oh, I'm waiting. Like the cutoff has happened. The poll can't take any more questions, but I'm waiting for a day. You're still healing from the kidney, so I didn't want to just immediately drop that on top of you.
I'm already in pain. Just go ahead and add it.
It's been replaced by a dolphin kidney. That's what's happening.
Check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google Play. Eventually going to be YouTube Music, but and Amazon. 1 year. Maybe this year.
And I'm getting notifications now that it's like April 2nd is when it stops.
April 2nd.
in Google.
Okay. So from Saga till then Saya beyond that. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So attention. We have found the kidney, and we're going to destroy it. Ethan Skinner, your kidney's destroyed. And then also we're going on to the main topic now. Ladies and gentlemen, our main topic is our second annual-ish Omni Awards, where we give our awards and congratulations to the media this year that really put either a smile on our face, a song in our heart, or a thought in our brain, however it goes about in that way or in other ways. I almost made that a cogent promo, but whatever. Anyway, so we don't really, we're not really big on just having one unified, like, oh, this is of the year. This is of the year. We all come with our very own of the years. And I will open the floor.
We also don't want to have to fight about that.
Yeah, we know this is our own personal awards. Each Omni Award is equal in stature and being, as we are equal in stature and being as travelers.
Some are more equal than others.
Some are more equal than the others. Some of them have both of their kidneys working. It's very good. There we go. So again, I open the floor. Who would like to go first? I will go first. Okay,
Cool.
so my movie of the year. This is my movie. The nominees for Jay's Omni Award for Movie of the Year. We have Cocaine Bear. A 500-pound bear eats a 75-pound bag of cocaine. Hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
Stars Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Ray Liotta in one of his final performances, directed by Elizabeth Banks. Oppenheimer. A 125-pound man enriches a 75-pound bag of uranium. Hijinks ensue. Stars
You could
Cillian
say
Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, and all of Hollywood, directed by Christopher Nolan. The Iron Claw, a family of 4 brothers suffer tragedy in spite of triumph, starring Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, and Stanley Simmons, directed by Sean Durkin, also written by Sean Durkin. The Phantom of the Paradise. This film is the story of the search, of that sound, of the man who made it, the girl who sang it, and the monster who stole it, starring William
Hold on,
Finley.
really
Paul-
quick, I learned something. What band or group would not exist if Phantom of the Paradise didn't?
Daft Punk.
Yep.
Yep.
Daft Punk would not exist if it weren't
Yes.
for Phantom of the Paradise.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Random Access Memories was co-produced by Paul Williams.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, starring William Finley, Paul Williams, Jessica Harper, director Brian De Palma. And finally, The Barbarians, starring the Barbarian Brothers and Richard Lynch, director, Italy. And the winner for Jay's movie of the year. That works. Is going to be Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's. These were all movies that I watched for the first time this year, so it'd be new movies and older movies that I'd seen for the first time. So yeah, but Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy, if he doesn't win the Oscar for this, I'm going to be very upset. If Robert Downey Jr. doesn't win the Oscar, I won't be super upset, but I will be a
Both
bit
of those
miffed.
should at the very least get a nomination.
If they're not nominated, then we're burning the whole town to the ground. I'm just saying that right there. Cocaine Bear was just a lot of fun. It was great just to have a good, fun movie to go watch with friends. Phantom of the Paradise, again, was a very interesting movie. The amount of influences that this spawned off for a movie that you don't hear about. That this year, by the way, 50th anniversary.
Oh,
This
okay.
is the 50th anniversary, 1974 to 2024. Barbarians, again, was just another fun movie. It's not going to win an Oscar, but goddamn it, it's going to get nominated for an Omni. And finally, the movie that we weren't going to talk about till we got to this point, The Iron Claw. I am going to keep this very brief. Up until a point, this movie was actually my movie of the year. This was
I
legitimately
know
my
exactly which
movie of
point
the
you're
year.
talking about.
There is a scene in this movie that I guarantee you is the worst scene in an A24 film ever. When you watch this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I've never been pulled out of a movie so fucking hard in my life. I've never been. The movie got me back thanks to very strong performances from Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White. I want to give a special shout out to Stanley Simmons. He is the one who played Mike Von Erich. There is a scene, if you know the Von Erich story, then you know about the press conference. And Mike is a big focus of that press conference. And they did the press conference scene in the movie. And that was the scene in the movie where I was the most scared for this scene.
Yeah.
Because it would have been very easy to slip into farce and not intentionally comedy, but playing in such a way where it'd be silly. Stanley Simmons pulled it off flawlessly. The kid is honestly of the 4 brothers, he was probably my favorite one. I would talk more about it, but I really want people to see this movie organically. Whether if you do or do not know the Von Erich story, I want you to be able to watch this with fresh eyes. This was a very good movie. It gets almost my highest recommendation. Obviously, my highest recommendation goes to Oppenheimer. I felt that 3 hours. I did. But again, you have.
Did you watch this in theaters or did you?
I watched it in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I had a Wednesday where it was like I got up early.
That's
I'm like,
interesting.
okay, I got Oppenheimer. I can go do that because it was either that or Barbie. And when I saw Barbie was going to be almost rushed to Max, and I still haven't seen it yet. It's one of the reasons why that one wasn't on there. I can't think of any other movies that I missed that aren't here because all of these movies are again movies I actually saw this year.
Right.
But Oppenheimer is some of the best actors and actresses.
Yeah.
If I had one complaint about it, Emily Blunt, I wish she was in more of it.
Yeah, well, the problem is that Christopher Nolan, I'm gonna In Frame Out said this, would rather put a gun in his mouth than write a female character well. And Emily Blunt is like the best the most well written female character that he's ever done.
Yeah.
And she's still not like in it enough or consequential enough. The only problem that I have with it is there is literally an egregious sex scene is just like it pulls you out of it, but luckily there's like 2.5 hours more of the movie.
Right.
There you go.
So you kind of forget about it.
But congratulations again to Oppenheimer for winning Jay's Movie of the Year, the
Yeah.
Omni Award for Movie of the Year. All right, next up, gentlemen.
I think I'll go next with one. So I had a problem with being able to like looking back at the movies that I watched. It was very I legitimately could not figure out my movie of the year because there were so many like really good movies, especially really good movies that I watched very recently. So I had a really difficult time. So I kind of separated them into a couple of different things. The next time we go around, I'll just do like 2 of them back to back. But since you mentioned the Iron Claw, it wins my best needle drop in a movie. There is a point in the movie involving the song Tom Sawyer that
Which was Carrie Von Erich's theme song in World Class,
Right.
because that's where he gets his name, Modern Day Warrior.
yeah
Nice.
and the way that is set up, it moves from being diegetic in one way, which means part of the actual story, like it's in the world, to being diegetic in another way, and then moving to non-diegetic, meaning it's just you're hearing it but the people aren't hearing it, and it almost made me forget all of the tragedy that was about to come because it's kind of the high it's kind of like I think it's like the highest moment before shit
The
really
bad
gets
shit,
bad.
yeah.
You could argue the wedding maybe.
That's a high moment. That for me, the high. See, I don't want to. You and me, I would like to do like not tonight, but I would like to do just a Iron Claw rest stop where we can just start, because he hasn't seen it yet and he hasn't seen it yet, and I really like. I want to stress coming into that organically and not expecting some of the things I saw really made that movie. Sean Durkin, gets all the credit for really putting together a solid movie.
Yeah.
And it's an A24 movie, so I'm going in there expecting good, but with the exception of that one scene, it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. But
you're right. That's a
like I got chills when they started doing all the stuff.
the music was so well done.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like even the appropriate songs at the right times.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my best needle drop of the year.
Do you think one of the boys gets an Oscar nom?
Somebody should. If it Zac Efron would get it for best actor. I think everybody else would get it for
supporting.
Supporting. It would probably be Jeremy Allen White if I had to choose, because that just seems how the Oscars go.
Yeah.
Really and truly, the Golden Globes, that's a
Well, the Globes already did theirs, and they hadn't released it in time for the Globes, so I don't think they can be considered for it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I can see Efron, I can see Jeremy Allen White. I don't think the guy who played Mike is going to get a nom, but he was really, really good.
I'm curious to see like the films that he does in the coming years. 'Cause
Yeah.
like I said, he had a very hard job for that one scene. And
Yeah.
I was to the point where I was hoping that scene wasn't going to be in the movie, and they did it, and then he knocked it out of the park.
I can see possibly, was it Lily Allen? Is that her?
Lily, no,
Lily Allen
Lily
is the
James.
singer.
I think Lily James.
yeah. Lily, yeah.
She's another one that I wish was in her movie more.
I can see her still getting, well, they might give her one. I don't know. That's an iffy one. I don't know. But yeah, I can see some noms going to especially Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Ethan, what about you? Do you have a movie of the year?
I have a movie of the year. However, it's not necessarily going to be like movie of the year, or this is what I'm calling best movie experience.
Okay. All right.
Because the movies that Jay listed, I think a lot of them we watched together. The Barbarians,
Yeah.
Phantom Paradise.
Phantom Paradise. But there was one that kind of like stood out when a lot of the majority of the people sitting here, including Eddie, went to the Grand to watch Cocaine Bear in theaters. That is probably one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. Where it was enjoyed with a good group of friends. It was a really good movie experience. Nothing terrible happened during the movie.
No, it was afterwards when we went to IHOP.
Which still generated.
But then it led to some of the best Buffalo Wild Wings we've ever had.
Oh yeah,
That
for
was
sure,
great.
for sure.
So all around like best movie experience for me is gonna be Cocaine Bear.
Hold on, I didn't do an applause for Brady's well
Okay,
done.
this for the Iron Claw.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So much like Ethan said, like I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet either.
Me neither.
But it will be on streaming soon, I'm sure. As well as because it's A24 and A24 and HBO Max has a exclusive.
Yeah, the Iron Claw is specifically that was the one that they called out was going to be on on Max.
Right.
Sorry.
I'll be watching that as soon as that drops because I definitely want to see that film. Yeah, Barbarians was great. Cocaine Bear was amazing for what it was. They definitely knew what they were doing, and they knew what they were doing with their song choices and when they used them and things like that. That was awesome for me. Out of all the films, I would love to nominate Phantom of Paradise, but I can't because I've seen that movie like 50 times.
There you go.
It's gonna have to be Barbie.
Okay.
And
Good
because
choice.
I'm not naming it movie of the year per se,
But this is a perfect one for Barbie.
but I'm naming it the movie I didn't think I was going to like.
Yeah.
Category because
Smashed expectations.
I watched it. I watched it on HBO Max or Max or whatever you want to call it. And just like one thing I do like about the streaming platforms, at least some of them, if you have like the whole commercial package or whatnot, some of them, and it depends on the movie, I guess, will show just a advertising package before you watch the movie, and that's it. There's no interruption during the whole film, which is also pretty cool. Yeah, that one definitely exceeded any expectations, even though I had like none of them really going in. But it's Margot Robbie. I mean, she's phenomenal, and Gosling.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling. That's another sneaky ensemble cast.
And I didn't know Will Ferrell was going to be in the movie. That was also a very good surprise for me because, I'm a pretty big Will Ferrell fan. I know a lot of people that can only take him in small doses. He's best in either really ridiculous, over-the-top character parts, much like in Step Brothers, or in this regard as a bit part that really plays to the whole mythos that's in the Barbie movie, which I know a lot of people are turned off just from the trailer, but I don't think they really understand what the movie is about outside of the message in it, which was great. I mean, you don't want to miss out on Depression Barbie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a thing. So my film of the I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did award goes to Barbie.
On top of that, Billie Eilish, I want to say she's being nominated for.
There's a song that plays that she does almost right
she's
before the
on
movie's
that,
over.
and I'm Still Can is on the short list because the nominations aren't out for Oscars, but the stuff that's been pared down. I want to say there was something for special effects that. I want to say Oppenheimer wasn't on special effects, which is mind-blowing to me.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was something that was very egregious that missed the short list that I was like, what the fuck? But that's the Oscars. They fuck it up quite often.
They do that quite a bit.
I watch them, but I don't watch them, but I follow them, but I don't particularly care about them. It's mostly to bitch what they miss up and see if they get it right, and to just kind of a thought experiment, more or less. But yeah, the Billie Eilish song in that is very, very good.
I'm going to head off with my game of the year. Now, this is not just video games, but it's also board games, card games, and the like. Again, these are games that I played for the first time this year. And so on top of it, so we got Beast, board game, asymmetrical card drafting, hidden movement. A monster hunts in darkness. Hunters must stop it at all costs. A combination of hidden movement's best features with new mechanics baked in to make a wholly original, in my opinion, experience in the world of hidden movement games. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Once more, Ganon threatens the safety of Hyrule. Once more, Link takes up the sword. Once more, Zelda is the guiding spirit. A refinement and advancement of the breakthrough that was Breath of the Wild. Finally, my third nominee, Star Wars the Deck Building Game. A fantastic, simple two-player card game, matching theme to mechanic, and proving a licensed title can go beyond just a work-for-hire project. My winner this year, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. There were a lot of great video games this year I did not get around to playing. I will say that I owned Baldur's Gate for exactly 45 minutes. It crashed 5 times, and I realized my computer could not handle it, so I Steam refunded that, and it's still on my wish list. So I could not include Baldur's Gate 3 in there. However, I have a bunch of friends that were. If I had to pick a Raspberry Award, it's going to be to Diablo 4. Because it was a fucking joke coming out, and holy shit, like I like Diablo. I'm not a big Diablo fan. I'm not a first day purchase one, but I just saw how horrible they launched that off, and I was very sad about that. But going back to Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, it is more than just Breath of the Wild, just in terms of scope, in terms of things that they refined, and I think, from what I understand from Eiji Aonuma, who's the Zelda director, they're moving away from this and going on to a new direction. That is some tall shoes to fill for 2 of the best games of this generation.
Right.
But I think they did a fantastic job with this. I've gotten up to 700 Korok seeds. I don't think I'll get to 1,000. Much like I promised y'all, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
How close is because I never got to play them because they were in the N64. How close as far as like mechanics and such is Ocarina and Majora? Like, how close are those games to like
mechanically outside of the mask mechanic? They are wholly the same game.
Yeah,
like quite possibly identical because the way the timeline works, and Jay correct me if I'm wrong, is the series. The entire game kind of splits off into 3 different timelines, depending on the actions of the game. There's a timeline where Ganon is defeated by adult Link.
Well, Ganon's always defeated. Well, no, there's 2 where Ganon is defeated by adult Link.
Yes.
There's one where Ganon wins, and then that timeline I think goes into The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2.
That's Ocarina we're talking
and
about.
this is from the Ocarina.
Yeah.
And then you have the point after beating Ganon,
And-
where Zelda sends Link back to his childhood.
Yes.
So you have a timeline where he was able to continue on as a child, and that's where you get Majora's Mask and a bunch of those games. And then the one where Link is gone, there is no hero of time. So Ganon is able to come back, and they have to seal the kingdom off, and that's where you get Wind Waker and that line of games.
Oh, interesting.
So Majora's Mask takes off literally after the events of Ocarina.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And basically Link going out and adventuring in the world.
Right, because like the reason why I brought that up is because Tears of the Kingdom and the other one are very similar as
Breath of
far
the
as
Wild.
like settings.
It's the Legend of Zelda 2, in that Tears is a direct sequel to
Right.
Breath of the Wild. What happened in Breath of the Wild, and again, mechanics wise, very similar. But the new mechanics they throw in there, I'm not gonna say make it a wholly different game, but it freshens up the original game.
I like
in a way that just is so amazing.
I like the idea of them going in a different direction now after doing this last one.
And
change it up.
And Anuma even said we want to go into a new direction.
Right,
because
of course.
One thing I will say for Nintendo, they're not afraid to try some new shit.
Right.
They just aren't. Like, I look at Zelda 1, they could have gone just with here's another top-down game. No, side-scrolling action RPG.
Well,
okay, let's see what happens with that.
And Capcom did the same thing with the Mega Man franchise.
Yeah.
They did X, but they still continued on the number line as well.
They did Mega Man X, but they also did Mega Man Battle Network and turned it into an RPG.
Legends or Legacy?
Mega Man Legends, which is a third-person RPG.
Yeah.
I like it when I like it when they feel like they can make iteration instead
Right.
of Modern Warfare 3 for the second time.
Yeah.
literally.
Look at what Nintendo did with the Mario franchise. Like, there's the classic platformer Mario. And then they came out with Mario Galaxy, which kind of like experimented with a little bit, like a full 3D.
Well, it starts with Mario 64.
I was about to say,
Mario
it starts with 64.
Yeah.
Once they break into 3D,
Yeah.
they go all over the place with doing different stuff.
And then with the newest game of Super Mario Wonder, they go back to the platforming aspect, but then they add the Wonder Seeds, which change. Which could, depending on the stage, change how playing in the background, playing in the foreground, changing with the point of view aspect of it.
I love Nintendo for that, and I love the indie scene.
Right.
Because as far as innovation and extrapolation on things that already exist, I think the indie scene is doing it way better than any major company, Nintendo included. I think if you want originality in games, like there's the game that Donkey is getting put out, Animal Well, which is, from what I understand, it's like a Metroidvania roguelike involving animals.
Okay.
I've got it wish listed on Steam, and I'm very excited to see more about this as it comes closer to coming out, because right now it's kind of nebulous, but I'm really excited for this thing. I love the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
I like video game Donkey. He's way more thoughtful than I think people give him credit for, and the fact that he did this to start this up, and they're going at this slow, and they're picking projects that I think have unique appeal and or something that have already been established, and I'm really happy to see where he's going with Big Mode. I really am. Brady, hit us with 2.
We're gonna call an audible, and since you talked about your game of the year, I'm gonna talk about my game of the year.
Okay.
And that is very easily Lorcana, Disney Lorcana. It was very rough going for a little while, where prices of cards were absolutely ridiculous because nobody could get it. And then they had probably an entire village in China work themselves to death to up the amount of cards that are in circulation, and they're all pretty much you've got some expensive cards, but even then, like compared to like Magic and stuff like that, they're not that ridiculously expensive, relatively. Like the most expensive card that's not like an enchanted card is like 45, I think, right now. But you can get it. You can get the cards. There's a lot of us, my friends that play the game, and we're able to even then, like the advent of Pixelborn being a thing and it not being shut down yet. It's just a matter of time. They'll probably get shut down pretty soon because Disney just lost the Steamboat Willie copyright, so they're probably pissed off about that.
You can use that specific Mickey Mouse in anything.
Yeah, they like they did with Blood and Honey. There's a Steamboat Willie
of course,
horror movie coming out. I'm certain that it'll be just to the quality of Blood and Honey. But yeah, Lorcana, it's really good. It's been a very long time. If you count collectible card, like just collectible card games and not just say card games, it's been a very long time.
Yes.
Since I have played a collectible card game. When I was in junior high, I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
And that turned me off a lot to collectible games, but now I am back in it, and it is a very fun game. The mechanics are great. It kind of tickles all that nostalgia part of your brain. It's made me want to go back and rewatch a lot of these movies that it's been a little while since I've watched.
Right.
I think that's an ancillary result that like Disney was looking for.
Yeah.
Not in any kind of like necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily paying them any more money because it's just I have Disney Plus now. I'm actually using it more.
Yeah.
But yeah. Lorcana, it's a great game. I hope it continues. I hope they eventually go, okay, we're going to release 2 sets a year instead of a set every quarter because can't afford that. But we'll see how it goes. But for right now, I really enjoy it. It is a very fun game. And I continue to look forward to playing this game.
2 things I want to tack on that. First, my opinion on it turned to good when I was able to hang out with y'all for that Christmas party, and just everybody was able to sit around a table and have fun playing, even in modes that aren't built into the game. Like the idea that people came together and
multiplayer games, we play with way more people than the game is supposed to be played with. But then you just kind of got to shut your brain off and not care too much about who wins the game, because it really is just an absolute crapshoot. But yeah, we actually this past New Year's we played like we made like a little tournament basically.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And then we played singles
That's
games,
good.
and
That's
they're starting up a league pretty soon, and we're going to be playing in that.
I like it.
So yeah, it's a really fun game, and I hope that it continues, and I hope when this next set comes out they are not ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they made so many, but I think the printing has caught up with the other two sets, so I think that I hope that they won't make that same mistake with the first two sets.
Right.
But the second set wasn't super expensive until for very long. Like it's you can get the second boosters of the second set and get them for if not exactly MSRP, like just slightly above MSRP. So
Right.
if you are out there and you see somebody selling it way above that, they are absolutely ripping you off. You can find it in multiple places. You can find product in multiple places for at or just slightly above MSRP.
My second thing is, and as much as Lorcan has been good to you, I legitimately thought you were going to go with Gris for your game of the year.
That is, if I would say like a new to me thing, that is going to be it. I want to, as much as possible, stick to things that actually came out this year.
Okay.
But like I did write that on like a new to me thing, because that is a phenomenal game. That's my favorite game in video game in quite some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, play that fucking game. Give those developers all the money.
I'm gonna call an audible here. But normally we go to Ethan, but let's go back to Jody, because Ethan has all of the sinuses fighting him right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll stick on.
It's from the lack of a kidney.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
There we
that'll
go.
do it.
Forgot.
Like your
That
immune
is a
system.
symptom
Yeah.
of only one kidney.
Is this now lore? Can we count this? Yeah,
Sure,
the Omni
add it
lore?
in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
This week in Ethan's missing body parts. All right, so
Tune in next week.
I like
Finger
how his
question mark?
fiance giggled at that.
No, the finger is that he's losing a finger. That's why. There we go.
Yeah. So as far as games that, especially games that I've played this year, there were so many. Maybe not so many video games, but yeah, I would definitely like. I'm gonna go ahead and like squeeze in two real quick and say Gris is my. As it's new to me, like favorite game I played this year. As far as a new experience, just everything in that game is fucking amazing. The emotional weight of it, and the color changes, and the beautiful watercolored art, and the platforming, and the puzzle solving, and all that.
It's a game that I am at the same time desperate to go back and play, but terrified to go back and play.
There's the one stage where you have the light play of you can only move on certain platforms if light is shining on them, and you have to also reverse engineer once you get to a certain point gravity changes.
Yeah.
That was definitely reminding me of the fun annoyances of platforming, but it's, have to keep repetition and all that. My favorite game of the year for me was down to and it's hard to say like the year of, because some of these games are Kickstarter games that I've played, and it really and also not so much Kickstarter games, but it was down to Return to Dark Tower, and the Dune deck building game, Dune Imperium, and as much as I like Return to Dark Tower, I think Dune wins it for me. Both of the games are smooth, and I do love the chaos that ensues from Return to the Dark Tower, because it does add a lot of really cool, like luck-based things as far as like the game, adding more things and changing different aspects of what the tower does. But the strategy and the tactics in the Dune game just like bring it home for me. So I want to say that that's my favorite game of the year. Dune Imperium.
They just released a new one that's based more on the second movie that's coming out, and it adds like sandworms and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's basically
it
the
is-
same game.
Yeah, I think it's standalone, but I think you can mix the two.
You can. It's standalone, but from what I have read, the expansions you can mix.
Okay.
You can put with the second one.
Okay, that's cool.
Interesting.
But they are.
Interesting.
But both games are absolutely just standalone. Like you can't.
Okay.
The base components of the games you
Don't
can't
work
mix.
together.
I believe the full title is Dune Imperium Uprising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think at least most of the characters you can mix between the two.
See, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything else with the game, I could be wrong about this.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much in it because I have
Right.
all the shit for the first game, so I'm
Right.
not gonna get the second game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's one of the few games that I also got everything for after, because after a while, when you have enough people in
except for
friend
the
group,
upgrade stuff because that's hard to find.
yeah, yeah, and it's 60,
I'm probably just gonna get it on get some shit on
it's
Etsy
like
if I ever
it's
do.
$60 for the upgrade pack.
Yeah,
And,
but you get
yeah.
like all the cubes become like plastic warriors and shit like that.
Etsy.
But yeah, Etsy you could pay roughly the same and get cooler shit probably.
Right. And more of.
Yeah, cool personalized shit. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the few times where it's like, okay, he's got the game, but I'm also getting the game because just in case Brady's not around, I can still play this game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because normally, if somebody's got it, no one else tends to get it nowadays, as far as the crew goes. But yeah,
Right.
Ethan, phlegm removed. Let's get some more.
The phlegm
omnis
has
from
been
you.
expelled from
There
my
we
body.
go. All right, along with your kidney.
Minus one kidney.
Kindi. Minus one kindi.
Minus phlegm. I'm here.
Kindiana Jones.
So I'm also going with 2 because for me, my game of the year, it has to be Baldur's Gate 3. Like there's so many things that you're able to do in it, so many
Right.
different paths that you can take, especially with like the character customization, what you can do with the companions that they give you, changing their specific abilities and classes. There's so many customizable and unique things, paths that you can take in the game, and it's a functioning D&D campaign in a video game.
It really wants that, and like one other, maybe Spider-Man 2 makes me want to buy a PS5.
Yeah, like that Spider-Man 2, like those two were really the contenders for me. But
Yeah.
like Baldur's Gate 3 just like overshoots.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 does.
everything.
It has replayability, but not to that level.
No, absolutely. You're not gonna have the same unique gameplay as
Right.
you would replaying Spider-Man 2. Now, what I remember last year, I had the honor of announcing the worst video game of last year. That returns this year.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. I don't think I've. Wait a minute. I may have it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Here we go.
For the longest time, the contender was for the Legend.
Wait.
No, I misspoke. Hang on a second. The contender was for the Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Okay.
But
Okay. You get to keep the other kid.
Okay, I keep the other kidney. Cool.
Okay.
I know who took the first one then.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, because we told you
Yeah.
we took it.
Literally led off with "We all took your kidney." Like, good. You don't even pay attention to the podcast while you're
The
on it.
bathtub and ice is right in front of you.
Yes.
But then a couple months ago, Kong, Rise of Skull Island
Oh, okay.
came out, and it is the absolute worst garbage fire of a video game for a PS5. Imagine, if you will,
Imagine, if you will.
90s CGI with like the worst like animated motion of any character. The game developers, I assume they were extremely upset with the project, that they forgot that they just left a still image of a JPEG in a cutscene, and it immediately cuts to baby Kong like with like the most surprised and unemotional face ever. It's like, what? And then it goes back to the dinosaur, and it's just a still image of it. and it made the final product.
It's a PS2 launch title.
It's a PS2 launch title.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
100% what it looks like, and I am extremely disappointed that this game was made.
Did you play it?
Oh God, no. Absolutely not.
So there's a game that's called The Day Before.
Oh,
It
yeah.
released, and then the day after, it was removed from the
It
store.
off Steam.
So it predicted its own demise quite handily. Like you know what? I accept that as the what's the opposite of Omni? Only. It gets the Only award for worst video game, and I'm okay with that. But the day before, oh my God, it lasted a day, literally.
The full name is Skull Island: Rise of Kong.
There you go.
Yeah.
That game did not deserve to have its name corrected. You could have just said the wrong name.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, it would have
that's
been
true.
fine. Yeah, we don't
That's
give credit to Onlys, only Omnis.
The day before. That's the game that they like used assets from like not even games to make that.
Everything I saw from different people playing was just abysmal.
Like it was a JPEG. It wasn't even an animated GIF.
Right.
No, a still image. That's it.
There you go.
I'm surprised they took the word stock out of whatever out of the entire photo.
Brady, I request that you bring the energy and fun back with a Omni Award for something that was good. Please, sir, I beg you.
Okay, we'll fit in my other two for the movies. So this one's gonna be my holy shit moment in a movie.
Oh, I like that.
And this is Godzilla -1. This is the first full use on land of the atomic breath. I have never seen an atomic breath like this. It was not expected, even though you kind of saw it a little bit before because he used it, but it was in the water to blow up a ship, and that was really cool. But then he there's so much buildup because he actually has to charge up, and like his spines start sticking out further, and they start glowing, and then it moves up his body, and then it hits, and it is. Like it blows you the fuck away, including everybody that was in the area. Yeah, it is. The movie's so fucking good. This was one of the reasons why it was very hard for me to decide what was my favorite movie, because I saw all these movies that were really, 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 really fucking good. So yeah, just that was absolutely amazing. Once you watch the movie, you will see it and know that I'm right about that. So the other one is going to be a tie, and I ended up calling it the most affecting moment in TV / movie, and there's a common thread with these, and these two both come from me having a daughter, a teenage daughter, and so the first one is towards the end of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where Gwen Stacy gets sent back to her own reality, and she has to confront her father, and she kind of lets all her feelings out, and then he lets all of his feelings out,
Right.
and they kind of come clean to each other. That hit me very, very hard. But just as equally, what hit me was basically the entire first episode of The Last of Us TV show, because of the dynamic with him, with Pedro Pascal's character. I cannot remember his real name in the movie.
Joel.
It's sure. I just did that because that's gonna piss somebody off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole dynamic with his daughter, and then the tragedy of losing her, even though I knew that's how that happens in the
Right.
because I knew the beginning, I knew the end of The Last of Us. There's stuff in the middle that I don't know about because I just haven't played the game, and I probably will never get around to playing the game.
It's so good, though.
I've heard good things about it, but I only have so much time.
I get you.
But it worked very, very well, even though I knew what was going to happen. That hit me very, very hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the two moments in movies and TV shows that really affected me quite strongly. Runner up, there's a moment towards the end of Godzilla -1 that I don't want to spoil. But yeah.
For me, I want to jump in if I
Go
can.
for it. Fire away.
I'm
Sure.
gonna piggyback off of Brady's awesome ideas and say like one of my favorite moments of one of my favorite like animated films of this year was when Spider-Punk from the Spider-Verse
Oh,
got
yeah.
introduced. I'm like, this is like some of the coolest shit.
Yeah.
That and the very unassuming villain also was a really cool reveal, because at the beginning you see something happen and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny, that's kind of quirky, and then later on it's like, what?
Yeah, he goes from very goofy to self-assured to, oh my god, I'm terrified of this guy.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and they do a very good job with that. Yeah.
That really, like, that movie is so good. I really do love that. As well as another honorable mention as far as like favorite animated films of the year. That's mine. But the Super Mario Brothers movie was also really fucking good. But yeah, okay, so I got that out of my system.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Go ahead, Ethan. Say something.
Yeah. That grunting is from the lack of kidney. And we're just gonna we're burying this into the fucking earth.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and go into best albums of the year.
Okay.
Stepping away from movies, going Sleep Token. Okay.
Sleep Token. Okay.
Yeah.
Beginning.
That was actually an excerpt from the latest album.
Oh, okay.
Beginning of January, they released 4 singles.
Yes.
They were fan-fucking-tastic.
And
And then 3 months later, they released 2 additional singles. And then they finally released "Take Me Back to Eden" in May, I believe, was May of last year. June, I think. May or June of last year. And I listened to this album daily.
Nice.
Just driving to work, shuffle on Spotify. Oh, look, it's a Do You Wish That You Love Me? Oh, it's Aqua Regia. Oh, it's Granite, it's Chokehold, Vor. Everything is a non-skip song, and I love it so much.
Good stuff.
And let me pass it along to Brady.
Yeah, I guess I'll piggyback on this one. I didn't actually do a best album of the year because I felt like it was too fucking obvious.
Was it Sleep Token?
Yes,
Okay.
This is my favorite music thing of the year. This was a good year for music. Just a quick shout out to some other bands that I really like came out with some really good albums. You got Cracker Island from the Gorillaz, and then you got Craig Black, Changed My Life from Portugal the Man. Those were really good albums, but like it's Sleep Token. So I did my favorite music moment of the year, and this is basically Sleep Token paying off. And I know I haven't been listening to them for that long, but when I like something, I don't go half into it.
Right.
I get obsessed with it. So I
Same.
of course have listened to their other albums, their EPs, their non-album singles that came out. I've listened to them over and over again.
Right.
And most of Take Me Back to Eden, there was a lot in there that paid that off. But they really come full circle with the very last song of the album, which is named Euclid. There's so many little things in that song that you pick up that are references. The title track, Take Me Back to Eden, has so many references to other songs. But just the first time when the album had came out, because I listened to the singles like so much, I kind of just skipped to the songs that I hadn't heard yet. And I listened to it on the way back from a recording because it came out like on a like midnight on a Wednesday. And getting back to my home, I was listening to Euclid just on my phone because I'd gotten home and it was still going on, and it was kind of half paying attention to it, and towards the end of it switches and basically the lyrics become the final, like some of the final lyrics from the first song off their first album. And when and just remembering the feeling of when that hit me, I was sitting on my bed and like I literally like when I realized what was going on, I fell back onto my bed and was like, oh my God, like it paid off so much. And I am so glad that like they have absolutely exploded. They fucking sold out Wembley.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
They're gonna be playing
Unlike some wrestling company. Anyways, no,
yeah.
so-
There was way more tickets than what AEW sold.
Yeah.
But now that there's a little like it was a little bit marred because the singer Vessel had a problem with his voice and he couldn't sing the whole time. But the audience sang for him for most of that. And then he also like he tried to sing like at different parts, but he wasn't able to get like full songs out. But like the adding to their if you look at something from a year ago, they're in these very small things, like they just have like plants around, and then they have like their banner in the back. To now to in Wembley, they have like fucking laser shows going on and dancers coming out, and they've added so much to it. And they go from being very simple to like now all of the other three members have elaborate masks and outfits, and one of them's wearing a jacket that has little patches and little things that people have given him throughout on tours. Like he has little little things on his zipper and patches all over that people have given him.
Right.
And like they're on fucking the drummer gets to do an hour-long thing on Drumeo where they interview him and he talks about his process and everything like that. And it's amazing because like there's no ego in Sleep Token. It's because it's all because of the anonymity. Like you don't have any of that. Like you're never gonna. I don't think you're ever gonna hear about the lead singer of Sleep Token did this or that or said this stupid thing. Is because they want complete
anonymity.
That word.
There you go. I may just edit me saying anonymity.
But yeah,
so that no
anyway,
one
I'm going off on a ramble. But yeah, just the coming full circle with this album and paying off what feels like, saying, okay, you have listened to these songs and you have learned these songs and you know the words to these songs, and you know the melodies, and you know so much about these songs. You have given us our time. Here is your reward for that. And I can't really think of a singer that I have loved, or a singer or a band or a group that I have loved that have really done that very often.
Right.
So yeah, that is my favorite music moment of the year.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take it to YouTube. YouTube Hive of Scum and Villainy. However, it does have some of my favorite entertainers in the world on it. And so this is my selections for a YouTuber of the year, my nominations rather. Mandalore Gaming, a consistent high-quality reviewer of video games across all different eras of gaming. Particularly this year, his videos on Myth 1 and Myth 2, his video on the CRPG Weird West, and Cabela's Dangerous Hunts, which had the funniest moment in anything I
was a funny
watched.
video.
That
at
was
all this year.
That
Just
was good.
absolutely amazing. Red Letter Media, Mike Stacklasa, Jay Bauman, and Rich Evans and the crew present their consistent, irreverent, insightful commentary on movies. Notables, obviously, their continuing Half in the Bag series and review series, but particularly this year, watching Mike and Rich talk about season 3 of Picard, which got me to do a free month of Paramount just so I could watch it. And they're always kind of reviewing the bad end of stuff, like and how things could have been better. This is just two friends who have loved something for so long, that being Star Trek, and for it to finally be paid off in a way that they found enjoyable. It was heartwarming.
My favorite thing of theirs that they did was was it Best of the Worst with Macaulay Culkin?
Best of the Worst with Macaulay Culkin showing up every
good.
night.
I think Christmas special this year was Black Spine, wasn't it?
I think that was last. I think this
Did
year
they do a Best of the Worst,
they did
or
a
was it-
Junka. I think
They might
did
have did a Junka for Christmas.
Yeah. It was a Junka with Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, great. Yeah, no, that's another great one. Up next, Steven Larson, YouTube's, in my opinion, best wrestling fan/critics. Solid observations consistently paired with very entertaining presentation.
Of course, the Stephen Larson Going In Raw podcast, which is almost a daily thing throughout the weekdays. There are reviews and watch-alongs of pay-per-views or premium live events, however you want to put that. And in particular, I think it's Steve's channel, Wrestle Juice, where he kind of gets a little bit more intimate, is able to like actually broach topics that come from their audience. Let's see, H Bomber Guy. He did one video. It was 4 hours.
I watched it.
And it is, in my opinion, the greatest video ever put on YouTube.
It's really good.
Shout out to Todd in the Shadows who had a follow up.
Who had a follow up, which was
I watched that one
also
too.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Watch Plagiarism and YouTube. Just watch that. And then finally, Squidmar Miniatures, Sweden's greatest export. Emil and Lucas display inspiring creativity in the world of miniature painting, notably of this year, their Warlord Titan series, where they created one of the greatest dioramas and all of the troubles and travails in getting that thing done.
Jesus Christ.
My winner of the YouTuber of the year is Mandalore Gaming. A month ago, this was a lock for him, and then Plagiarism and YouTube showed up, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
And what it came down to there was Mandalore has more out this year. It was a wider variety of things.
Right.
I spent more time, intrigued by games that he mentioned. I actually bought some games that he mentioned off of Steam because I wanted to get those copies, and also just his general reference. And again, I have not laughed as hard as that Cabela's video in my that I can remember in my life, because that one sequence is just insane, and then it just keeps like popping up crazy every once in a while. It's just great. But again, I do believe that we witnessed the greatest YouTube video of all time in Plagiarism and YouTube, and I want to give a shout out to Harris for that, because that was exceedingly well researched, exceedingly well presented.
The crazy thing about that is that you also watch the Todd in the Shadows. Like, Todd talks before the video starts. He's like, "Listen, I know H Bomber Guy's video just came out. I talked to him because they're friends while we were both making our videos. Like, before I started making my video, I said, "Hey, guy, I'm not going to do the same thing you're going to do." And they both had a really good take on it, for sure.
Yeah, they ended that man's whole career.
Yeah.
I knew known about the Illuminati stuff. And,
right.
What's crazy about
that was just like a slight
bit
of what she's gotten trouble with.
She's got way more troubles way up.
Right, she's got like abuse and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It hurt that I found out that like Internet Historian, like that was Man in Cave was another one of those like top tier like YouTube videos I'd ever seen, and then to find out that so much of that was plagiarized.
Yeah.
I was so sad about that.
One of the guys that was one of the writers on the Illuminati channel that was in like she definitely like wasn't very nice to.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
She
remember.
wasn't very nice to all the guys from Sad Milk.
Yeah.
Everybody from Sad Milk got fucking shit on.
But one of those guys is actually like blown up because of it, which is really nice.
That's
I
good for
cannot
them.
think of his name right now, but he's pretty cool. So check that guy out. If you can look it up. Sad Milk.
But it's so weird. Like again, that once that lens shifts, like I remember us like just sitting around watching Illuminati videos sometimes.
Yeah, I liked her videos.
yeah.
I wasn't like subscribed and didn't watch them all the time, but I would watch them every once in a while.
Yeah, and you find out the reason why is because she just parroted something from somebody else.
Yeah, which is like, man, this is the year that respectable YouTubers that normally just you wouldn't have to think a blink for a second to assume that they would have any sort of like nefarious things in their nature, and not just their video production but everything going. Yeah, the Illuminati, the Completionist, Sniper Wolf. It's just like all of these.
No, Sniper Wolf I knew was a fucking drama pit.
I'm sure, maybe not on the levels of Onision, but
Onision's his own circle in hell. They did a 10th one just for him. But but just real quick on the Sniper Wolf thing.
Yeah.
My problem with Sniper Wolf was wonderfully capsulated by Nerd City years ago. Zero respect for Sniper Wolf before that.
Right.
It went into the ultra negatives when she doxed Jack. That was insane.
That was insane.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the positives though.
Yes.
My top YouTubers of the year are before I get to my main one, the one that wins the YouTuber a Year award. If nominees are like Shoe on Head, she's really good. She had 2 really good videos. She's got several videos this year, but 2 really good ones. Men, Are You Okay? And then the follow up, Women, Are You Okay? Because she got backlash for doing the Men, Are You Okay? Not going to get into the topics on that, but the really good stuff. And then my brain shut off.
Here, let me talk like Satan for 2 seconds.
Hello, everyone. Believe in your dreams as long as I'm in them. I am the devil.
Do
That
you
really
remember?
that really didn't help much.
Oh, okay.
That
Yeah,
made
that
it
probably
worse.
made it more
Okay.
distracting.
That made it-
All right, let me try to be a gnome.
Okay. Okay, that helps a little bit.
Going to kill you and eat your soul.
Could have just like ate the soul part and left out the killing. That'd been great.
What that reminded me of was in The Emperor's New Groove when Yzma became a cat and she just kept making threats like, I'm going to kill you, in that like very high pitched voice.
I wonder if they had her turn into a cat because it was Eartha Kitt and she was Catwoman in the old Batman series. One
All
of the
right, well,
3.
that sent me back
There
into
we go.
it.
All right,
Okay.
okay, go for it.
So also Brandon Tenold. I've mentioned him before on the show. He does mostly cult movies and things of that nature. He does a lot of Godzilla movie reviews. He's just really good. He's one of the writers on the Into the Darkness series, documentary series. It's on Shudder, which follows like the last one. I think the third one follows like every like slasher for every year or something like that. Really good stuff there. And then the third one is the Found Footage Festival, which has nothing to do with found footage horror movies. Joe and Nick, these guys have been friends for a long time, have been collecting VHS tapes since the 90s. And they have several shows on their YouTube channel, which is Found Footage Fest. And they also do tours and things like that. And they have a lot of different shows. They have like VCR Party Live, Saturday morning cartoons where they watch like shitty cartoons from the 80s and 90s and commentate on them. They're hilarious. They have a lot of different segments on their shows to keep everything fresh and snappy. They also have quite a low subscriber base for being on YouTube for like 8 years now. Usually their videos get like 2 to 3K, but they have like 3 or 4 videos a week, so they have a lot, and Patreon, so they make a living off of their videos. They just grind out a lot of and they win this year for me. I've been entertained for hours upon hours watching their content. I find them hilarious. In fact, they got sued earlier this year. Actually, the lawsuit had been filed the year before because they like doing like pranks to different local TV channels and things like that. For example, like Nick went on to a local show a few years ago portraying himself as a chef. They actually put out a press release so they could get on actual television. As a chef, showing people how to use their Thanksgiving leftovers and turn them into gravy. And they had 2 minutes on a local TV show, and they reacted to it the other day when they were going through their footage because they're fucking hilarious in that regard. So, yeah, so Found Footage Fest, those guys are great.
Good stuff. I like it.
Okay. I couldn't decide. So what I decided to do with YouTube this year was I watch a lot of YouTube, and I discovered a few things this year. So I just wanted to like highlight some of them and go over them real quick. I couldn't decide what my favorite one of these was, but the first one is The Music Professor. So for me, like music is kind of almost like magic. Like I don't fully, like I can't wrap my brain around a lot of things about it when it comes to like playing it in music theory and things like that. But I found this. So I there are some people that I do love on YouTube who talk about music. 12 Tone being one of the big ones who talks about music theory a lot.
Yeah.
But the music professor, he's this older, probably in his 50s or 60s British professor who just does these videos in his apartment, I guess it is, with his dog there in the corner, and he'll talk about different, mostly classical is what he does. But he'll talk about little known things or maybe something that somebody that this famous composer did that you didn't know. The one that got me into it was he talked about an alternate version of Fur Elise.
Okay.
And Fur Elise is one of my favorite classical pieces, but then and then at the end he'll usually play the piece with like notations, and he'll talk and with little notes and stuff in it, and it's really good. Like they're not very long, and I think he breaks it down in a very good way to where it's more understandable. He doesn't get super technical with it. It's obviously he's good at his job as a professor. So there's that. Colin Looks Back. Mostly the thing that I watch with him is he does retrospectives on Disney villains. So he'll go through like a movie series or something like that and talk about all the villains that are in there. So that was really good. Hats Off Entertainment.
Oh yeah, I like that.
He talks about a lot of old TV shows and old movies.
Really obscure stuff sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he'll go really obscure.
The one he did on Three Stooges was really good. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't think I've watched that one, but I've the thing that got me into that I noticed with him was he did a review of the Monsters movie, the Rob Zombie movie.
Yes, he did.
And that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The next one is so for some reason this year I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole of watching channels that do stuff about Twisted Metal, and there are some channels that do that like all they do is play and talk about Twisted Metal.
Oh, that's awesome.
This Twisted Metal series. It's a big nostalgia thing for me. Since the second one, I played those games so much, and they were part of my childhood. So I stumbled across this one channel called Tactical Bacon Productions, and a lot of what he does is talk about Twisted Metal, but then he also, like God of War, he talks a lot about just different video games and different things that he talks about, and I like the way that he talks about things. So there's that's one that's really really good. And then the last one is a bigger channel that I didn't know about called Mini Minutemen. He is an archaeology dude. I think he's either gone or just gotten his master's. But what got me into him is he does a lot of stuff on TikTok where he, like, somebody will be like some weird ancient alien shit or some like, oh, we don't know how this thing this thing this like conspiracy theory type thing,
right?
That's from the ancient world. He debunks those, and he has a series where he goes through and debunks a lot of stuff and talks about them. And he talks about them in a very educated way because he's studying this shit. And he also does things where he goes to dig sites and things like that and talks about them. So yeah, that's kind of my YouTube retrospective things that I have discovered this year.
I discovered one too. I want to just throw in real quick, if I may. There's a channel called it's Girl in the Woods, and her husband also has a separate YouTube channel, and I cannot remember the name of that one. But if you follow hers, you'll be able to follow his. And what they do is really an amazing thing if you can have the resources to do. What they typically do is they live in Alaska. They will buy a plot of land, and they would take all of the foliage and all of the trees and everything out, clear it out. They will use the wood from that to build a log cabin that is sustainable through well water and solar plant paneling and things like that. They will live in it for like 3 to 4 months while they're waiting for the property to be sold, and then they will do it again. So they just move from log cabin to log cabin, building log cabins, and to try and like reduce their carbon footprint while also being able to live the life they want to live. So it's really neat stuff there. Really neat stuff there.
That's interesting.
I'm just gonna steal the microphone from Brady real fast. So
You gave away that you're sharing a microphone.
Too bad. There's
I know what they're not sharing.
A liver.
A kidney.
kidney.
Oh yeah, a kidney. Liver's coming next.
Oh no.
Our blood types probably doesn't match. In fact, I know it doesn't because I checked when we took his kidney.
Yeah. Yeah, Brady's blood type is B and Ethan's blood type is ragu.
I'm AB positive. I can take any blood that I want.
Oh, that was a ragu joke at Ethan's expense.
I don't care.
Okay, there we go. All right, now go, Ethan.
Okay. So
Wait, let me give you a voice mask. It'll make you better. I'm going to give you large robot. Go for it.
Large robot. Here.
large robot.
I think.
You gave it to yourself.
Thanks,
My
Optimus.
apologies to everyone.
Thanks, Optimus.
All right, there we go.
Say do it and say Autobots roll out.
Autobots transform and roll out.
All right.
Frank Welker.
Thank you
There
for that.
go.
There we go.
Peter Cullen.
Peter Cullen. He just got
yeah.
like a lifetime Emmy or something.
Lifetime
like
Emmy
yeah.
Award. Yeah.
Frank Welker did one of the other
Megatron.
that.
Megatron.
No,
and
hi.
300 other.
The Death Star screen.
Anyway, there we go.
there you go.
I apologize to the listeners for that last one because that one kind of burst my fucking eardrums. My apologies.
Jay's having too much fun with the new toy.
We have effects now,
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know this. This is a
but apparently I
fantastic.
can't give y'all the effects.
Oh, the power to yourself.
Ethan can make his own voices.
Oh, wait a minute. You're on radio. Hold on. 3. What the?
Okay, I think
We're going to disregard that and just go back to the regular.
maybe
procedure.
edit some of that out. I don't know.
Okay, so
No, I
Or-
think everybody needs to know how I scared the shit out of myself with
You're
my
gonna
own
cause
voice.
car
almost
accidents.
knocked over your drink. Okay, so as far as YouTuber of the year for me, there's been many that I've watched over this year. One group, one person in particular that all of y'all kind of like introduced me to Nexpo.
Nexpo.
Like all the like the deep going like deep dives into like abstract
Mystery
things,
shit.
mysteries and all that like really like enticed me and it almost held me. It kind of like held me hostage with like just like like how much of it my attention that it just caught. Where,
Right.
like I did not want to like look at my phone. I didn't want to like look away from the TV screen. And I just want to like keep focusing on it.
That
And
also
so-
happened to me earlier this year. Well, last year with the Backrooms as well.
Yeah.
Like,
let's see. I've been watching a lot of Corridor Crew, watching a lot of their like reactions to visual effects, special effects.
boy, did they irritate most of the YouTube sphere when they did their AI anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did a lot, some collaborations with some other YouTubers. One that I will get to in a minute.
One of the YouTubers apparently being Chat GPT. So there we go.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Game Grumps, especially with Bianca, just like rewatching old episodes of like 10-Minute Power Hour, watching compilations of like funny moments. And
Did you watch the episode where the fans put music to some of what they were doing?
Yes. Oh my
There's
God.
3 of those over the past couple of years.
One that I extremely liked was an episode of 10-Minute Power Hour where they bought lost mail from UPS and they opened it, and just like the ridiculous things that they found, like space themed candies that they just made absolute fun of. And I haven't had as much belly laughs from like mindlessly watching YouTube ever since.
I think Jay almost busted a kidney when we were watching like them like reacting to fans like putting music to their videos. The forklift operator song,
That was great.
That shit was,
fantastic.
like all of it is just fantastic.
really good stuff.
But I think the one I have to give it to is going to be Markiplier.
Markiplier.
He's been doing a lot of good things, not only just like on YouTube, but multiple podcasts that he's a part of. He's developing his own movie, which is the Iron Lung, which is I think is gonna be releasing this year or next year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing a lot of things, and he's always just been enjoyable for me to watch. The things that he does.
He's a very likable guy.
He's a very likable.
Because of the things that have happened this year,
Yeah.
I am terrified
To-
that we're going to find out he was the Zodiac killer. Like I'm terrified of it. It's like
He's
please,
got like
please.
$2 million in a bank that some charity is supposed to get that never gets their money.
Oh, that was the completionist.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah, I know.
completionist.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, you know.
No, I'm going with
Yeah.
Markiplier's Zodiac killer.
Oh, okay,
Markiplier
sure.
is the Zodiac.
Yeah.
Sure.
But no, he's just extremely likable to watch, extremely enjoyable,
Right.
amazing, like funny moments with all of his friends. That he's been playing Lethal Company that I've just had a lot of belly laughs, a lot of just really good times enjoying watching.
Right.
What I love about him is that he wasn't one of the OGs, but he's like of the second wave of
Yeah, he's in
YouTubers.
the middle of
and
that.
he's changed enough. Like he hasn't changed.
Right.
Like his ethos is like he still gets like content out, and it's good content, and
Right.
it's quality over
Right.
quantity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just he seems just like a genuinely good man, which is why he's the greatest serial killer never caught. Like it has to be like I'm
real
sorry.
like Ted Bundy vibes almost.
No, Bundy got caught. The Zodiac didn't, and because he's Mark Fishbaugh, aka Markiplier, allegedly.
Markiplier.
Wait
like,
a minute. Allegedly. What? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, we got it in all forms, so
Okay,
we're good.
Markiplier started right about the time where you could actually make money on YouTube and then immediately not make money on YouTube because the ad apocalypse happened as well during that time
apocalypse,
period.
yeah.
That was fucking nuts, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Markiplier is my YouTube.
Okay, that's fair.
There you go. That was very good. Any other awards we want to hand out before we end this show?
I've got like I want to do a music one myself. I think like before this year I had only listened to one song by this band, and I'm sometimes you try and base off of what you like off of one song, and that's a terrible idea really, especially in this day and age. But we had an episode where we had to listen to 3 albums from this band earlier this year, and so like even though this album came out last year, I'm saying Ghost Imperia is like my favorite album that I listened to this year. I listened to, speaking of listening to the same songs over and over again from Sleep Token, like you guys talked about earlier, I listened to Imperia like every day for like probably a week straight just before the episode we recorded on the 3 Ghost albums. And then I listened to it again for another like 4 or 5 months after that. It was just fucking great shit right there. Like Kaiserian is like one of my favorite metal songs of all time.
Kaiserian is great.
Fucking amazing shit right there.
I'm the same way, except with Prequel.
Prequel's
Like,
also
Prequel,
really good.
For me, it knocked it out of the park for them.
Yeah.
There you go. Brady pulled the microphone back to him, so I believe that we're going to end with the big man himself. So,
Yeah.
Brady.
And this might be fitting. So I'm going to talk about my favorite moment of this podcast of the year.
Oh, my God. The omniest omni moment of
Yeah.
the omnibus.
And thinking about it, I think for me, this has to go to the finale of the City of Mist case that we did. Because to be honest, there for a couple of episodes, it was very rough. It was getting into, the characters, getting into, learning about how things are, how things work in the game, because the mechanics are a little bit different than a lot of other games. But I think that finale, it really ended up. There's also we hit some roadblocks.
Yeah.
But I think it really became pretty interesting in the end. So yeah, that's gonna be my favorite moment of the podcast.
Tila Locke has stayed with me longer than I thought he would. I like that is our longest running like series, start to finish.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 3 episodes.
It was supposed to be
two episodes.
and then we went to 3 episodes, and then we went to 4 episodes. We would have stopped if we hated it.
Yeah,
like
for
I just
sure.
think we would have, but we didn't, and I think we wanted to get through to the end of that.
Yeah.
I think by the end we started really playing with the storytelling side of the system, and I think that's where it really kind of came to. And I would say even more so that playing that game set me up and the players that were in that was set for the Fabula Ultima game that we've been running on as far as introducing storytelling, not just from the GM seat, but also from the player's seat.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's very laudable, and I greatly appreciate City of Mist for being.
Oh
able
yeah,
to be
that
out
was
there and
that
do
was a great experience.
And that series, and you ran it fantastically, bro.
Also,
thank you for that.
yeah, it was super fun. Like some of the funnest times I've had playing tabletop, and I think us all like having that experience of that game, and then also running games for the podcast. Also, like the game I ran, I had a fucking great time doing that too. That was some of the
Lost in Dystopia.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Or Welcome to Dystopia.
Welcome to
my apologies.
Dystopia. Yeah,
I played the sleaziest and just most disgusting character I've ever imagined.
Indeed, you did. Indeed, you did.
And that was just you losing your kidney. Anyway, no, we're gonna bury that into the ground. If I could just real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
If I had to pick a moment from last year for the show, it was compiling the trivia episode representing the first 50 episodes that we did, because gentlemen, we're slowly approaching 100. It's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to do something similar to that, but just kind of looking back at that history and just 50 episodes of it, it gave me a heartwarming feeling, because we started this and there was a goal of 33 episodes just to see if we could, and then we hit that mark.
Right.
And then we hit 50, and then we hit 75.
Yeah,
I think this is like 84 or 5.
something like that.
Which means sometime around the late spring, we're going to hit 100.
Hell yeah.
And I've enjoyed every single moment, and I just wanted to get that out there if I possibly could.
Yeah,
So thank you.
celebrate spectacular.
So thank you very much for that, gentlemen. I appreciate that.
I think what my favorite omnibus moment is our most recent top 5 chalkboard, where
That was
That was something.
all of us were losing our minds to figure out the absolute mind-boggling
Wait.
order of the
Brady had that so well organized and presented, and the problem was I had a completely different thought, and and we were all just, what is going on? And like, oh no.
the hardest part was the easiest part for us.
Yeah.
In which
yeah.
we immediately had our contenders.
Yeah.
How could we order it in such a way where everyone's happy?
It was the exact flip of when we did top 5 songs of all time, where it took us forever to get down to 5. And then, but once we got it to 5, then it,
was
all
like
kind of
boom,
slocketed
boom, boom,
together.
boom.
Yeah. Real quick, Jody, do you have one?
Favorite moment?
Yeah, just off the
year?
cuff.
Oh my god. We've done so much.
Yeah.
And my memory is like a sponge. It's
No, this soaked everything up. It's like a sieve. It has released everything.
It's soft and full of holes.
I would try to put a voice mask on you, but apparently I can't do that
I
with
think
this equipment.
it sounds like I already have one. I don't know. But man, so many good times we've had doing this show as a whole. It's really hard to for me to center it on one specific moment or episode. But I think probably for me it would, and I don't want to sound like I'm lazy or whatever, but I think because of everybody here that we had for because we had Holder was on the Ghost episode, right? He was.
That was Michael.
That was Michael.
Yeah.
Michael was on.
Michael was on the Ghost episode.
My apologies.
Which I'm always grateful for when co-hosts come on.
Yeah,
and
when
we can feature the friends
you
and
know,
stuff we're doing.
that was a fun time, just discussing everything, because sometimes we gloss over things, and sometimes we'll have notes on a specific songs. Like we got down to the song on most of those albums, every single one of them, but it's really hard for me to boil it down. But I would have to agree and say, like, the City of Mist experience was phenomenal. That's probably some of the best storytelling and role playing I've done like this year. And not just this year, but just overall in a long time.
And again, like, we would not have stayed in that experience as long as we did if we just so the fact
we were engaged the whole time.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So it was just great. It was a great time.
Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this year, the bus is pulling into the station. We hope you've enjoyed the fun times that we've presented to you here. And once you've seen our fun times, wait, what? Did you have something and I skipped it?
No. There was a sound that was like, that sounded like a bus pulling in, and you heard that, right? Yeah, Ethan heard that. And we were trying to figure out who the fuck did it.
Well, I have news for you, gentlemen. I've hired a ghost, and the ghost
Like it sounded like air being let out of a tire or something. Like I don't know.
We've hired a ghost. His name is Ghosty Bus.
Ghosty Bus.
And he will make that sound every so often for us.
Oh my
sure.
God.
There you go.
All right.
So now that the haunting of the omnibus is complete, ladies and gentlemen, let's give some thank yous to some of our friends and colleagues out in the world of podcasting. Brady, because you always want an easy one, go for it.
The Whiskey and Wrestling, Jason Holder and Michael Hill. I almost said Michael Shannon.
That'll be great.
So today we're gonna talk about what happened with WWE Raw this week, and it was a good show, I guess. That's my Michael Shannon impression.
Have you seen Bug?
And I will cunt punt. No.
Those are all good Michael Shannon impressions. Ethan, Michael Shannon impression.
That's good. That's good.
That was a good Michael Shannon impression. Michael Hill and Jason Holder have a podcast where they talk about wrestling. And I'm certain that you will hear all of their thoughts about what was the fucking World's End. That was the last AEW pay-per-view. I haven't watched AEW in a few weeks. But yeah, if you want to hear their opinions on wrestling, the state of wrestling, every once in a while they do some old show. They do old shows in the past. So yeah, listen to them, and they talk about whiskey. They get an alcoholic beverage, and they drink it, and they tell you what that's like as well. So if any of those things sound interesting, check them out.
I need their opinions on the MF Doom, the Cherry Coke and Hennessy. I need opinions on that.
Sure, you can ask them for that.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Ethan, continue the train.
Introducing a new podcast, a new friendly podcast. Bearded Drums.
I was gonna do that one, but that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. No, continue. Continue on.
Bearded Drums is hosted by Stephen Nelson II and Jarrett Taylor. They talk about drumming, drumming in music and the music industry. They talk about their personal experiences with drumming. Stephen being a professional drummer for 16 years, and Jarrett Taylor having an immense knowledge of drumming.
Well, he played in the Mississippi State Marching Band.
I didn't know that.
This is why I was the one that was supposed to do this.
Well.
But you also were a percussionist in high school.
I was, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go.
Middle school, high school. Yeah.
There you go. Very good.
He's partially qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they just go into deep depths, deep depths and deep into thoughts on
not the shallow depths
on drumming equipment, different styles of drumming. So if any of that perks your interest, check them out. Bearded Drums.
There you go. Available on all major platforms and also on YouTube because they record video.
They film themselves.
Yes.
It is true that a group of white guys is called a podcast.
Wait a minute. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Good Guys Don't Dance is a movie starring Michael Shannon. And if you want to hear about that film, you should listen to Silence Your Cell Phones. If they haven't watched it, they will.
Yeah, I'm certain they'll get right on that.
Kevin Benjamin Shelton and Jared Hubbard watch movies and TV shows.
Are you high?
No.
Are you okay?
I'm still drunk.
Are you stroking?
I'm still drunk from New Year's Eve. I got
wait a
white
minute.
girl wasted.
Are you stroking?
Anyway.
The Foamy the Squirrel, everybody. Internet memes
Ill
from
Will Press.
2007.
Ethan doesn't understand that reference at all.
That was the before 4 times when you had to watch YouTube on an obelisk. Anyway,
Must have missed those times.
Yeah.
Silence your cell phones in the podcast where Kevin Shelton and Jared Hubbard talk about movies, streaming, TV, all those things. They're on all the platforms. Check them out. They're pretty funny.
Hello everyone, it's the devil again. My favorite podcast is Fearology. Join J.L. Kite as he scares you, makes you fear yourself, makes you fear your fellow man. And above all else, he's going to talk about cat movies that make him scared. He's going to talk about wolf movies that make him scared. Is there anything else, J.L. Kite?
No.
The theme for this episode is running shit into the ground.
Fearology. It's where we keep Ethan's kidney.
Available on Spotify.
Wow, the lore is all over the place. There's
Man.
nothing consistent.
Well, once the devil became a part of the
we're
show,
as
it
fucking
was just,
consistent as fucking Warhammer 40k lore.
sir, we're as consistent as Age of Sigmar lore.
That is a lie, sir.
Well, the tires are flat, much like most of our jokes tonight.
Most like the tires at McNarp Gaming in
Oh
Goshen,
my
Mississippi.
God. Squeeze
if
one
you
more
want,
in.
If you want tires, don't go to McNarp's because they don't got none.
Buy 3 tires, get one
Get
half
one,
price.
and all of them are flat at McNarp Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi. But if you want the deck of many things, you can get the deck of many things at McNarp Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi.
All the blind boxes got sold over Christmas holidays.
Thank you to God Emperor Cameron Spanier for providing us with this lovely studio space from which we can record and make this wonderful podcast. All right.
It's been a great episode, guys.
I'm enjoying
It
the new
has
equipment.
been an episode.
It has been an episode. We can confirm that.
The first episode of the season.
The first episode of
the
season
year
3.
and the season.
Yeah, so very good. So on that note, one more time around the room, I am James McCarthy.
I'm Mojo Jody.
I am kidneyless Ethan.
I don't know any more Powerpuff Girls villains. I'm Brady Davis.
And I'm the devil.
Thanks for stopping by and enjoying.
No, you need to do the high voice because you're him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm him.
Otherwise, you're Adam Cole.
It's time for story time with Adam Cole, baby. Ethan, just go the thing, and then we can get out of here.